But at any rate, a number of years ago, but back in those days, if you played a half of the game, then it counted as a complete ball game. But evidently, these days, there's no UIL rule governing that, which I found very odd indeed. And there was a big article in the Dallas Morning News this week about this topic. But anyway, no reason to rehash it right now pregame here. But as you said, Horn was in a position to win that ball game up 10-0. As far as my ledger goes, I have Horn with a win last week, Ryan.
Well, I'm okay with that, and I'll second that as well. But yes, I did read that article, found it very interesting. Several coaches all over the area. In fact, it's pretty unanimous. They all really would like the UIL to make a ruling on that and to put something in place to give them some parameters on what exactly constitutes an official game. Now, in district play, you're not going to run into that issue. You've got to play the ball game. So you've got to finish it out that night, late into the morning, or you've got to come back the next day or the next week or whatever it may be, because you've got to figure out who the actual winner of that game is, because it has playoff implications. But in non-district play, there aren't any of those, and so it is sort of the wild, wild west.
And, in baseball and softball, the UIL has very clear rules to delineate that, to how to handle that situation. After a certain number of innings, if you're ahead by a certain number of runs, then the game is called, and the game is official if it rains out. The game's official if you go more than 5.5 innings, I believe it is.
Yeah, 5 full innings.
And so, they have it in place in baseball. Anyway, let's talk about that maybe at halftime. Right now, let's talk about these Horn Jags as a team. They're one game against Mansfield, a tight ball game, 33-31 Mansfield. But if you look at that box score, you'll see that Horn outgained Mansfield 402 yards to 317. But the reason they lost it, if you look in that last column, Ryan, they had 5 turnovers, and the Jags lost the ball game because of that one stat.
Yeah, 2-point loss to Mansfield, and you just imagine if the Jags had held that to 3 turnovers, which still would be too many, they would have had a really good chance to win that ball game. So I think if you're Coach Vernon Hughes, first year as the head coach there at Horn, you have to feel good about that in a way, because even though you lost the football game, you know that if you can clean up some mistakes, you're going to have a really good football team. They're going to have an offense that can move it on you, and we'll see that hopefully here tonight out of Horn. Now, Dante Ware is the quarterback here in 2025 for the Jags. In that first game against Mansfield, 12 for 22 passing for 155 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He can also run the football, Steve, 167 yards on 15 carries, and so he's a dual threat guy.
Yeah, he is, and Horn, a good solid team this year. A new head coach, Vernon Hughes, is the head coach at Horn High School this year, and he expects some good things from the Jags, and a mark in the win column officially after this game is over. Now, the Arlington Lamar Vikings, if you look at their record here in 2025, it says 0-2. You might think they're not very good. But look at those 2 losses, Ryan. They lost to Plano West by 1, 15-14. They lost last week to Saxe, 24-21. They're only 4 points away from being undefeated. So this is a good, solid team from Arlington Lamar.
Yeah, you're right. Now, last year, Horn beat Arlington Lamar 40-7.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be that lopsided here tonight.
Agree.
I really don't. You look at those box scores, as you mentioned, Steve. Lamar had an 8-0 lead on Plano West going to halftime. They led 8-3 going to the fourth quarter, and then Plano West outscored Arlington Lamar in the fourth quarter to go on to win 15-14, and then against Saxe, that was a close game throughout. It was 10-7 Saxe at halftime. Both teams scored 14 points in the second half. Saxe's a very good program, so Lamar is good as well. They'll have a chance here tonight to pick up their first win of the season, and this should be a really good test and a good barometer, I would say, as well, for Coach Vernon Hughes and this Horn team to figure out exactly where they are heading into a district schedule, Steve, that is probably one of the toughest in the state.
Yeah, no doubt about that. A beautiful night for high school football, as Ryan mentioned to you. We broadcast tonight from Hanby Stadium. Now, Ryan, since you made the comment about the clouds, I noticed there's one little wispy cloud.
Oh, you really looked, didn't you?
I looked. But
yeah,
now that is by the time, I want to mention this, that's the first time the word wispy has ever been used on a football broadcast on KEOM. I'm pretty sure. I'm
I'm also pretty sure that cloud blew in after I made that comment.
It did indeed. It did indeed.
Well, the colors are being presented at midfield. The crowd still filing in to their seats and finding where they'll settle in for this matchup tonight, Horn versus Arlington Lamar. We're glad you're with us. Should be a great night for football. Friday night here in the state of Texas, always a special time as the Horn Jags come out onto the field in the red jerseys, black pants, and black helmets. And Arlington Lamar will be in the white jerseys, navy pants, and bright yellow helmets. We'll have the kickoff coming right up here from E.H. Hanby Stadium. After this, Horn Jaguars football will continue in a moment.
Do you worry about how much someone
That was very
drinks?
odd. That's the first time I've ever seen one of our
Do you
teams
feel
run on
angry
the
or
field and the
depressed
band
most of the time?
didn't play the fight song.
Do you feel neglected or
That's kind of
unloved?
weird.
Do you feel you attract people
they're
who
playing
tend to
the
be
national
compulsive
anthem right
or
now.
abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring
Yeah, I
your
can hear
friends
it
home?
now.
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes
Boy,
to any of these
Arlington Lamar
questions, you are
crowd
not
didn't travel
alone.
well.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Maybe they're still on the
Not
way.
everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Good God.
Families and friends
He might,
are
I'm
suffering
not sure they have
too.
24 over there.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Your community leader, 88.5 KEOM,
Are we
Mesquite.
unmuted?
Welcome back to Hanby Stadium. The national anthem just concluding. The drill teams are headed off the field. The teams headed back to their respective sidelines, and in just a moment we'll have the opening kickoff here tonight from Hanby Stadium. Alongside Steve Glenn, I'm Ryan Castle on hand here at Hanby Stadium. Patrick Ross across the way. I think I see him through the window over there at the Technology Excellence Center in the KEOM studios, as we're about 200 feet in the air over here at Hanby.
Quickly, let's mention the two games last night that the MISD had. West Mesquite with a win over Molina, 63-7. So the Wranglers are now 2 wins and 1 loss on the season, 1-0 in district play. And North Mesquite played it was a district game for North Mesquite as well. They played Bryan Adams. The Stallions 55, the Cougars of BA 7. North Mesquite now 1-2 on the season and 1-0 in district play. Elsewhere last night in high school football, the Plano Wildcats picked up a win over McKinney 17-12. And just down the road, the Crandall Pirates beat Irving 49-0. Crandall now, well, it said in the paper 3-0 on the young season. I don't know about that. You think they've already played 3 games?
Yeah, this is week 3.
All right, 3-0. Yeah, that's right. 3-0 is right for Crandall on the season.
Horn's going to kick it off to Arlington Lamar in the south end zone. To start this ball game, the Jags have Norjane Gonzalez, who's been the place kicker for a few years now, a junior, to send one deep to the white-shirted Vikings of Lamar High School out of the Arlington ISD. Gonzalez approaches the ball, launches a high end-over-end kick that will push the return man back to the 6. Here comes the return by Shamariam Thurston, and Thurston will cross the 20, get out to the 21-yard line. That's where Arlington Lamar will start. Cameron Overall made the tackle on special teams for Horn.
Arlington Lamar, their school colors are purple and gold. They have the yellowish gold football helmet on. LSU also purple and gold. If you've seen LSU's helmet, you have seen pretty well the color of the Arlington Lamar Vikings helmets across the way. I don't see a lot of. Are their pins purple? I can't tell if that's a purple or black over there.
We debated this back and forth before the broadcast started. I said navy blue, but I guess purple probably is correct. But it's close.
I'm not sure what color that is. But anyway, their school colors are purple and gold. Horn in the black helmets, red jerseys, and black football pants. I didn't see were we offsides on the kickoff maybe? Yeah.
Yep, offsides on the kickoff by Horn, so the 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. So first down 10, right to left for Arlington Lamar at their own 25-yard line. The quarterback is Jaden Shaw, 49% completion rating so far this year, and he turns and he hands off on first down to Tyrone Thomas. And Thomas, who's the leading ball carrier this year at over 5 yards a carry, picks up 3 on first down. It'll be second down and 2 coming up. Cameron Williams made the tackle.
Last year the Jags struggled defensively. They gave up a lot of points last year. They're looking to refine that this year.
Handoff again. Thomas up the middle, busts free into the second level, and a first down across the 40 up to the 45-yard line. 12 more for Tyrone Thomas and a Vikings first down. So 8 and 12 reeled off by Thomas on the first 2 runs of the game.
This offense was very balanced last week in their loss to Saxe, 173 on the ground, 186 through the air.
Shaw in the gun. One receiver to each side of the formation. He turns, he gives the ball again to Thomas. Some good blocking at the point of attack, but coming around the weak side is Calvin Blaine to make the tackle from behind on Thomas at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Wow, that was some speed right there shown by the youngster from Horn who made that tackle, as he did indeed chase him down from behind to make a tackle right at the line of scrimmage.
That was good blocking up front for Arlington Lamar. They've got some big fellas up there. Jacaden Williams, a senior, right tackle. 2 receivers to the right, tight end on the left, second and 10. Shaw the shotgun snap, hands off Thomas. He's in trouble in the backfield. Blaine trying to chase him down, and he'll lose his footing right at the line of scrimmage. There is a penalty marker down in the backfield as Horn was chasing around Thomas. It'll be third down and 10, pending whatever this penalty is all about.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You mentioned the big offensive line from Arlington Lamar, and that time I was looking at the interior offensive line. They knocked us off the ball a good 2 yards, but the run was not up the middle where that good blocking was shaping up there. It was to the outside, and the Jags ran him down outside. That was a holding call against the Vikings here.
The Jags had an interesting decision there. It would have been third and 10 if they declined it. They decide to accept it and make it second down and 20. And that's where the Vikings will have it at the 35-yard line. Ball at the right hash. Shaw will come to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Looking across at a 4-man front. 2 linebackers. 5 in the secondary. Back to throw. Quick to the left side. Incomplete. Tried a tunnel screen to Camille Pruitt, and it never got to Pruitt. It'll be third down and 20.
The Jags in the secondary that time were matched up man-to-man with a safety free. They had man-to-man, locked up man-to-man on all the wide receivers, the safety free in the middle of the field. That was a very good defensive call against that particular play.
And now the Vikings backed up here, Steve, third down and 20. They need to get all the way to the Horn 45-yard line to get a first down. 3 receivers left, H-back to the left, Shaw in an empty gun, rolls left, fires, complete, and not much gain after the catch is made. Tackle made immediately by Donnie Durham on Kenneth Onan, who made the catch. It's fourth down and forever, and Arlington Lamar will punt the football.
Very nice play by Durham out of the secondary for Horn High School. Read that play quickly, got to the ball in a hurry, and made a nice clean tackle in the open field.
So A.J. Thompson back to punt, standing at his own 25-yard line. 9:50 to go first quarter. No score, and Horn about to get the football for the first time. Malachi Youngblood back to return. He backpedals to the 20. Here comes his return up the left hash, 25 to the 30. Outside numbers 35, and walks out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. 17-yard return, 9:35 to play here in the first quarter. Nothing our score, and the Horn Jag offense to work for the first time tonight.
A reminder to you now, the first giveaway of the night is from Windsor Florist. It's a $25 gift card from Windsor Florist. You can win that by calling into the broadcast booth after the first score in this ball game by either squad. If you're the first caller into the broadcast booth after the first score, you'll win that gift donated by Windsor Florist.
Listen to that horn band in the crowd, Mike, as the Jags take the field on their own 38-yard line. 1st and 10, slot on the right for Dante Shaw, who hands off on first down. Good run to start the drive, and a first down carry up to the 49-yard line. Cameron Williams got the call before Zion Johnson made the tackle, an 11-yard gain and a first down.
You mentioned the horn band, who is in their seats doing a nice job here. Now the Arlington Lamar band is just now arriving. On a Friday afternoon in the Metroplex, it's not that easy to get from Arlington to Mesquite. They had some traffic issues, it looks like, and the Arlington band just now filing into the stadium here.
Shaw in the gun, drops the snap, picks it up and runs it, and has a big play. 35-40. Outside the numbers, 35-30 down the sideline, 25-20. And Dante Shaw finally pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. What a play by Dante Shaw, making absolutely nothing into a big play.
And out of bounds, he was knocked out of bounds, and he knocked him right into the side judge, who was running along with the play, and the side judge took quite a spill along with the ball carrier. But both the running back and the referee now up on their feet, and both seem to be all right.
Dante Ware with a great run after he dropped the snap, looked like a dead play. Able to turn it into a big gainer all the way to the Vikings' 12-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Ware in the gun. The running back is Malachi Youngblood. Snap. Ware will throw to the right side. Incomplete. A lot of contact. There's the flag. This will be defensive pass interference. C.J. Jones, who's a great basketball player for Horn during the winter, playing some receiver here in the fall, and he just drew a defensive pass interference that will set up 1st and goal.
Jags looking good here on their first drive of the night. This is their first drive of the evening, and they play in District 11 6A, do the Horn Jags. Ryan mentioned to you how difficult that district is. We'll talk more about that in a second.
8:57 to go, first quarter, and the Jags knocking on the door in a scoreless game. And Dante Ware is now going to line up in the slot on the left. Cameron Williams, the running back, in the Wildcat formation. And did we have a timeout? No, a penalty flag. Penalty flag against Horn.
Well, that happens sometimes. You drive the ball all the way down the field with Deontay Ware at quarterback and everything, and you get down here and you want to maybe change the formation into a power running formation and go to a Wildcat. Well, that means a new quarterback. That means a new man calling the signals. And sometimes what happened right there, the offensive line is not used to the cadence. Somebody moves, 5-yard mark off.
And that guy got fired as the quarterback. Ware's back in there in the shotgun, slot left. Running back is Williams to his right shoulder. He'll throw it. He'll go to the end zone. Incomplete. Back shoulder throw for Derek Anaba. Anaba not able to get his hands up to make the catch. It'll be 2nd down and goal back at the 11-yard line. Good coverage by Shahariam Thurston.
I thought that was a nice throw there. Maybe a little high of the mark, but would have to see the replay there. I don't know if it would look from my vantage point, maybe a catchable ball. Very difficult catch, but at any rate, it goes incomplete, 2nd down.
C.J. Jones now lined up to the right side in the formation. Slot on the left. Ware will throw again. They'll go to Jones. Back shoulder. Incomplete. Had it in his hands and then knocked out by Thurston. It'll be 3rd down and goal, and the Jags want to keep going back to that play.
Well, it's one of those things that after the penalty, they thought second and goal from the 11. They needed to pass that ball, and probably, maybe rightfully so, but they have run the ball all the way down the field here, but now close to the goal line, they've tried to pass a couple of times.
They'll try to pass again. Ware with a pump fake, rolling to his right, throws, broken up. Nice play by Thornton again, or Thornton, I should say. It's going to be 4th down and 11, and the Jags offense stalls out in the red zone. They'll have to try a field goal. 3 straight incompletions. And that was after the pass interference that set up 1st down and goal. I think that penalty, Steve, really hurt. Because I think you're right. I think that took it out of the minds of the Jags that they would need to pass the ball instead of run the ball. Now Gonzalez, 28-yard attempt from the right hash. It's blocked. The Vikings block it. It's loose. It'll be picked up.
Oh, my goodness.
They muff it in the end zone. Oh, my goodness. A mental mistake there by the Vikings, but they're able to fall back on it. And so that will be a touchback and bring the ball out away from their old goal line, but that was nearly a disaster. Marco Harris blocked it.
That whole situation there at the end was a disaster. After Horns drove smartly down the field, quickly and easily down the field, all the way down to about the 5-yard line or so. 1st down at that spot. Then they had a 5-yard mark off, 3 incomplete passes, then a missed field goal. And so after a good offensive showing, nothing on the board. So I know a number of you were probably poised to call in and win that $25 gift card from Windsor Florist, but you'll have to wait a few minutes now as Arlington Lamar now gets the ball back at their own 16-yard line.
8:34 to play, 1st quarter. Both teams have had a drive. Neither one has been able to put up points. And they're going to move this back, it looks like.
Is that another delay of game call that we were mysteriously talking about last week or not? I don't know. I didn't see any other indication.
Boy, that was completely bizarre last week in that game that we called. The number of delay of games against Mesquite High School had us looking up the rule book.
So what are we doing here? Is there a penalty or not? Well,
I'm wondering if the Vikings coaching staff is wondering about the spot of the ball because they've got it spotted at the 12-yard line. I wonder if the coaching staff is thinking it should come out to the 20, but they've given it to Lamar at the same line of scrimmage from where Horn was kicking the field goal from.
No, it should be. I think he has a good argument here. That was recovered in the end zone. Well, maybe it's a different rule than we're aware of, obviously, I guess. I thought that would clearly be their ball at the 20-yard line, but evidently not so.
So Jaden Shaw in the shotgun, starting at his own 11. Fakes the handoff. They run option to the right, and it's Shaw taken down around the ankles just across the line of scrimmage. Really nice play made by Malachi Youngblood, who's an excellent defender in the secondary for Horn. It'll be 2nd down and 8. They ran the option that time out of the shotgun, brought a man in motion to be the pitch man from the slot on the left. Nice play design, but a better play made by Malachi Youngblood. 2nd down and 8. Slot left, running back to the right of Shaw in the gun. Brings the man in motion into the backfield. Play action fake, back to throw, lobs one deep into the seam, incomplete. Just over the head of the intended receiver, Tyshawn Rollins. It'll be 3rd down and 8, and pretty good coverage there by Youngblood once again.
Yeah, once again the Jags were matched up on the outside receivers one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. Nicely done by the cornerback on the far side of the field.
So 3rd down and 8. This is a big play for the Horn defense. Still 7:51 left in this 1st quarter. Chance for Horn to get off the field and force a punt. Shaw in the gun, 3 to the left, 1 to the right, a running back to his right shoulder. That's Taylor. Back to throw. Shaw looks left, pumps, now goes deep down the sideline. Ball caught! One-handed catch running free. That's Pruitt, and Pruitt will score. Oh my goodness, what a catch and run Camille Pruitt, 87 yards, and on 3rd down and 8, we're over here talking about forcing punts. Lamar says, no, we'd like to score, thank you very much.
Well, give us a call and win that $25 gift card from Windsor Forest. 972-882-7749 is the number you'll need to win prizes tonight. We're at Hanby Stadium, so it's 972-882-7749. Well, I looked at the rotation there. We rotated nicely, really, in the secondary. It looked like we had everyone covered, so you just have I was just going to say, a nice job in the secondary to rotate to those receivers, but it was a better offensive play by Arlington Lamar than was the secondary coverage. That was a tremendous catch. We did maybe take a little bit of too flat of an angle from the safety, Ryan, maybe, I suppose, but still what made the play was the great one-handed grab by the youngster from Arlington Lamar.
Yeah, and you've mentioned this several times already, Steve, but the Jags pretty dedicated to playing man coverage, and it burned them right there. Good job by Pruitt to get the step, and then I thought the ball was going to be overthrown, but Pruitt reached out his left hand, was able to basically grab it in the breadbasket, and then he had enough steps and enough speed on the Horn defense to go the rest of the way, 87 yards for the touchdown.
If you're on the Horn sideline right now, it's a very unhappy turn of events there. It looked like you were moving down the field, doing everything you wanted to do offensively, getting the ball all the way down the field to the 5-yard line. Then you don't get anything. You don't get anything out of that, nothing at all. Lamar takes over, and quickly you score, and now you're down 7-0. Of course, still only in the first quarter. Still plenty of time to overcome that situation, but, well, you can't, last week, Horn had 5 turnovers. This week, early on, a big miscue down on the goal line that turned 1st and goal to go from the 6 into 1st and goal to go from the 11. They did not overcome that, so the penalty really hurt them.
And even though they only played 3.5 quarters last week against Berkner, the Jag defense had not allowed points to the Rams in that game. Already a touchdown allowed to Arlington Lamar. Here's the return by Horn on a line drive kickoff. The return by Abu Kamara, one of the backup running backs, and he'll bring it out close to the 35-yard line. That's where Horn will start. 7:32 remaining here in the first quarter. 7-0. Arlington Lamar with the lead. And the Jags poised to start their second offensive drive of the game. Well, we'll talk more about this later on in the broadcast, but former Horn Jag Lamont Rogers, now at Texas A&M, is up in South Bend, Indiana right now, getting ready for a big matchup tomorrow night. His Texas A&M Aggies taking on Notre Dame. We'll tell you about our winner here in just a moment as well. First down for Horn. Dante Ware with the handoff. Big play. Look out here. Big play. Up the middle, turning right, 1st down and more into Lamar territory to the 48-yard line. Rodarius Wilson, who comes into the game with 3 carries for 12 yards, just picked up 20 on 1st down. Marquavian Gully made the tackle to the Lamar 48-yard line. Good start to the drive for Horn. They've got a slot on the left, Ware in the gun, turns, hands the ball off, and this is Rodarius Wilson again trying to sweep around the right side, and will gain a couple to the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7 to go. Bill Cullen is our winner tonight of the Windsor Florist $25 gift certificate. Calling in from Plano, Texas. He was the North Mesquite High School class of 1983 class president. And North Mesquite High School, that class just celebrated their 40th reunion.
All right.
Here's the keeper by Dante Ware around the right side, and Ware will be close to another 1st down for Horn. Looks like he's about a yard short to the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. 6:30 to play here in the first quarter. 7-0 Lamar. The Jags on the move in Lamar territory.
Well, congratulations, Bill. Thanks for listening tonight from Plano, Texas to high school football. We'll mail you out that free gift card from Windsor Forest sometime next week.
Ware getting everybody set, comes under center with the sneak and should have the first down. I like that play. Instead of making it 3rd and 6 with a shotgun snap, Ware comes under center, sneaks it in between the center and right guard, and it's a first down for Horn High School.
The next giveaway on the broadcast will be on the halftime show when we give away a gift donated by Whataburger of Mesquite, a $25 gift card on our football trivia question. That'll be at the half.
Ware in the shotgun, slot on the left, tight end to the right, snap back, Ware with plenty of time, plants his feet, now rolls to his right, and is going to be knocked out of bounds for a big loss on this play. Talon Martinez with the quarterback pressure, and Ware, instead of just tossing that ball out of bounds for an incompletion, went out of bounds and lost 4 yards.
Well, he had a man wide open in the seam on the left side, but the rush forced him to roll and move the pocket out to his right side. So therefore, he did not see at all that wide open receiver to the left side of the formation.
2nd down and 14 after the sack by Martinez. Ware in the gun with a snap back, quick throw, left side caught, need a block over there, didn't get one. Javaris Williams with the catch, but he'll be pile drived into the turf immediately by Marco Harris. The Jags will lose 3 or 4 more yards here. It'll be 3rd down and 18.
Well, so far, if you're keeping stats, the Jags are probably averaging about 15 yards a carry running the football on every rushing play. They're averaging about 15 yards a play. On every passing play, we have negative, if you add all that up, we're negative yardage on the passing plays. So I don't know what you do with that particular stat, but that is what it is.
And now it's 3rd down and 18. They got to get all the way to the 27 for a first down. Penalty flag is down. That pass out to the right side, incomplete, intended for Kai Furch. And we'll check this penalty flag that looked like it was thrown sort of in the middle of the field. It's a holding against Horn. So that'll be declined. It'll be 4th down and 18, and the Jags, I feel like, will probably punt here.
Another wide open receiver, that time in the seam to the right. Ware did not pick up on that receiver. He went to the split end out on the sidelines, who was basically not open at all. But at any rate, the ball was thrown there, incomplete. Wouldn't have counted anyway because of the holding call.
So 4th down, Kai Furch in punt formation for Horn. And here's the kick, low end-over-end kick. That hit a Lamar Viking, and that should be a free ball. That went off the back of a Lamar Viking, and then Horn just sort of leisurely watched it continue to roll down the field, and the Vikings recover it. Oh, a missed opportunity for the Jags right there. That ball went square off the back of somebody for the Vikings trying to get back and make a block. And they are very fortunate to retain the possession. That will drive the Horn coaching staff insane.
Horn had a couple of players right there on the scene that could have easily recovered that ball, but obviously they did not know. Either they didn't know the ball had hit an Arlington Lamar Viking, or they didn't know the rule that after that happens you can recover it. But one of the two. At any rate, Arlington Lamar did fall on it, and they have the football.
They're at their own 20, 5:07 left here in the first quarter, 7-0 lead for Lamar. Fake handoff, good zone read play. Shaw with the run. He's outside the numbers 30, 35, stays in bounds and then walks out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. 21-yard gain for Jaden Shaw, and a perfectly read option there by the quarterback.
Usually on the road, a team on the road wears white jerseys, but Arlington Lamar has a sort of a very light gray as their jerseys, and it looks good, but it's certainly not. If you come to the game and you think, well, those are dirty white uniforms, they are not. They are gray. It's supposed to be gray.
First down, Arlington Lamar at their own 41. Shaw with the handoff. This is Taylor. He's in trouble. And the Jags corral them this time. A loss of 3 back to the 38-yard line. Several Jags converged to make the stop. It'll be second down coming up. So take a look at some of the early numbers in this one. The Jags with 2 first downs have 50 yards of offense. This can't be right. Arlington Lamar, they say, has only 24 yards of offense, but I saw with my own eyes that they scored an 87-yard touchdown. So we'll have to check on that and see if they update it. Right now, though, 2nd and 13. Jaden Shaw, the quarterback, in the shotgun. With the clap, that was a fake clap. Now he claps and gets the snap. Rolls to his right. Eyes still downfield. Now he'll tuck it and run it. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage before he is spun out of bounds by the Horn defense. Third down coming up. Clock stops with 4:06 to play here in the first quarter. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Vikings.
Well, we need to stop. We need to get the football back. Right now, by the way, 7-0 is the score. Arlington Lamar with the lead if you're just tuning in. They hit a big, long 80-plus yard touchdown pass. They lead at 7-0 over the Horn Jags.
They'll level out the formation here. 4 receivers with 2 on either side. The running back is Taylor. Shaw back to throw 5 steps. Fires to the right side. Caught. A first down into Horn territory. Carrying the stack inside the 40 is the receiver. That's number 15, Jakari Martin. There is a penalty marker down in the secondary. But if it stands, it's a first down for Lamar. That penalty was thrown in the middle of the field away from where the pass was thrown. The throw was towards the sidelines. Waiting on the referee to make a call here.
The referee is the same one we had last Friday, and he does a good job. He's a good referee. He sort of has more of a casual approach as far as pace of game goes.
I was going to call it leisurely.
Leisurely. He doesn't seem to hurry with anything. But anyway, we finally did get the call. It was against the Jags.
There's a handoff to Tyrone Taylor straight ahead to the 35-yard line. Yeah, wherever he's going to eat after the ball game, they're open late.
Yeah, we're 32 minutes in the first quarter by my clock, and we still have 3:36 to play in the first quarter on the scoreboard here to our left.
The Vikings have a 7-0 lead and the ball at the Horn 35, 2nd down and 7. 2 receivers off to the left, H-back and running back to the right. 5-man front for Horn. Here they come. They pick up the pressure. Quick throw left side. Caught. Another one-handed catch by a Vikings receiver. Jakari Martin going up to grab that one. Close to a first down. Caleb Norman on the coverage. It'll be a first down for the Vikings to the 28-yard line.
Strong throw from Jaden Shaw, the Lamar quarterback. And we're matched up man-to-man again, but on the outside receiver, we gave him a lot of cushion that time after he scored that long touchdown earlier.
Taylor the handoff straight up the middle, and will carry it down to about the 20-yard line. That's a good gain on first down. You mentioned earlier, Steve, that offensive line for Lamar knocking us back off the ball. Boy, they did that right there. There was 5 or 6 yards for Taylor before contact was made.
Yeah, they really come off the ball very well on those inside running plays.
2nd and 2. And a whistle before the snap. Somebody was in the neutral zone. And we'll see who this is going to be going against. It's against Horn. That means it's an automatic first down for the Vikings. Down to the 20, actually to the 15-yard line.
One other thing they do, Arlington Lamar does, and a number of teams do this, on those inside running play, power plays, they have a double team on that side of the play, between the guard and tackle, or maybe the center and the guard. But anyway, they're double teaming at the point of attack, oftentimes, up front.
First down, Arlington Lamar at the Horn 15-yard line, 7-0. Lamar with the lead, looking for some more here. Play action fake. Shaw back to throw. Rolls to his right. Throws on the run. Intercepted. Oh, what a play by one of the Horn linebackers. Shaw never saw him. It was Cameron Williams, I believe, number 5. We'll get Gil to confirm that for us. What a play by the Horn Jags defense to keep this a 7-0 game, and it was Williams on the interception.
Yeah, he went high in the air here over the turf at Hanby Stadium to snag that one for the Jags. I'm not sure what his vertical jump is. They probably have recorded that as part of their athletic program there at Horn, but he showed off a pretty darn good vertical jump right there, Ryan.
The only problem with that play is that he immediately took a knee and he was at the 1-yard line.
That's true. So we have the ball 99 yards away from pay dirt here. Starting this drive with 2:35 to play in the first quarter, Arlington Lamar leads it 7-0.
You took a little bit of a different approach in the mindset there. I'm not thinking 99 yards. I'm thinking don't give up that one.
Yeah,
Jags
true.
really need to avoid a safety here if at all possible. Try to get some breathing room here on first down. Dante Ware's going to come under center and is going to try to sneak it for a few extra yards, and I'm not sure that he did. Tackled, I think, for a half of a yard loss. Back to the half-yard line. It's going to be second down. Now, I don't know. We kind of telegraphed that play a little bit. We did that earlier on a fourth down where Ware came under center and then snuck it. I think the Vikings knew that was coming there. It'll be second down and 10. 2 minutes and some change to play here in the first quarter. 7-0 Arlington Lamar. Horn with the ball inside their own 1-yard line. Ware will hand it off. The Jags get out of the end zone just barely. Cameron Williams the run up to the 1, maybe the 2. It'll be third down and long coming up.
Yeah, we need a first down here if we can at all possible to get off this goal line. We do not want to have to punt from our 2-yard line here.
Braylon Williams made that tackle for Arlington Lamar, and we'll see if the Jags trust that offensive line enough to have Ware drop back and throw here on third down and long. 1:20 to go in the first quarter. Ware will go back to throw. Clean pocket. Wants to go deep. Had a man, but he underthrows him. Incomplete. Trying to come back for the ball was the receiver, Santana Carriazosa, who's the leading receiver for Horn so far this year. Shahariam Thornton in coverage, and he was fortunate that the ball was underthrown. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown.
Well, we're going to be punting the ball here from our own, 3-yard line?
Well, I don't think so. Maybe not yet, at least. There was a penalty flag down there against Lamar. It was a 5-yard penalty. They must have been in the neutral zone. So they'll replay third down, and that is a big exhale if you're Horn, because now at least you have a little bit of breathing room back there. They moved the ball up to the 8.
That's a huge help to us, no doubt about that.
Boy, first down here would be huge. 1:14 left in the first quarter. Snap back. Ware fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, rolls it to the left, and is in a lot of trouble, going to lose big yardage. Back inside the 5-yard line. The Vikings were not fooled by that fake handoff. Zion Johnson with the big tackle for loss on Dante Ware. And now Horn's backed right back up where they were at about their 3 and going to have to punt the football. Man.
Well, the only good thing to say, and it is a good thing to say over the last few minutes, is we did intercept a pass and keep Arlington Lamar from scoring again. So that's the good news. The bad news is we have to punt the ball now from our own 3-yard line.
Kai Furch back in punt formation with his heels just in front of that end line in the end zone. And a timeout called here by Horn, I believe, with 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We'll step aside as well. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
Here in Texas, we look out for each other. At home,
I thought we had control of this game early, but
on our
not
roads.
so much anymore.
So,
Everything kind of turned in this red zone trip
Set
down
the phone
here.
aside.
We didn't get anything.
And drive like a Texan. Kind, courteous, and safe. Because that's what neighbors do. Learn more
Yeah,
at
first time we ever
drivelikeatexan.com.
used the word crispy.
Brought to you by the Texas Department of
Bumper in
Transportation.
3, 2, 1.
Well, it's horn ball. They're punting.
Little Stevie Ray Vaughan coming out of the break.
It'll be Kai Furch back in punt formation.
Oh, my goodness.
Before the snap, we have a penalty here against Horn, and I'm just here to tell you, half of not much is still not much. We're going to move this ball back a little bit, but half the distance to the goal when you're at the 2. Man, there is just no room for error here if you're Horn. 7-0 late in this first quarter. This has been a slow-moving game. It's 7:40, and we're still in the first quarter.
And that's sort of strange. I mean, there have been some passes, but not that.
Oh, high
that
snap.
many.
Furch able to get it. Just got off the punt before it was blocked. It's not a very good one, but it's certainly better than the alternative. It'll get out past the 30-yard line and be downed at about the 31.
Yeah, he punted that ball right between two rushing Arlington Lamar Vikings. He punted that ball into a little bitty narrow alley there between two defensive players, but he got it out of there anyway. Out to the 31-32.
So that's where the Vikings will start. 16 ticks left in this first quarter still. 7-0 Lamar. It was an 87-yard touchdown pass from Jaden Shaw to Camille Pruitt. The only scoring that we've had so far in this first quarter of play. Pruitt, by the way, is lined up wide to the left in this formation across from Caleb Norman in the Horn secondary. Shaw in the gun, looks across at a 4-man front. 2 linebackers, 5 in the Horn secondary. On first down, right to left, Arlington Lamar at the Horn 31. Snap back, Shaw hands the ball off to Taylor. Big hole over the left side, but it closes down quickly. Nice job by Malachi Youngblood and then Caleb Norman to finish him off, but there's a penalty marker down right as the tackle was being made. Boy, this is the first quarter that will never end.
Well,
that's a holding against Lamar, so that will wipe off the run by Taylor. It'll make it 1st and 20 now, back at the 41-yard line. Both teams have really struggled with penalties in the early going.
well, you mentioned Pruitt, the big play guy for Lamar, or who was it? Yeah, Pruitt. And, you know, if this quarterback, Shaw, has time to throw, I'm not sure we can handle that guy, Ryan, one-on-one, man-to-man, without some help. That guy's a really fine receiver for Arlington Lamar. And see if we give another timeout.
That's the quarter break. So into the first quarter here at Hanby, 7-0 Arlington Lamar with the lead over Horn. Jags football will continue in a moment.
Whataburger of Mesquite is a proud sponsor of this KEOM Sports broadcast.
Gosh.
They're simple. Boring. Never thought of until they're needed. They're windshield wipers. Only when Mary Anderson became annoyed that New York trolley drivers were stopping to wipe their windshield by hand did anybody do something about it. By attaching the spring-loaded arm to a rubber blade, one woman made travel easier and safer. Look to innovate.
Coming back with a bumper in 3,
from PassItOn.com.
1.
One quarter in the books here at E.H. Hanby Stadium in Mesquite alongside Steve Glenn. I'm Ryan Castle on hand. 7-0 Arlington Lamar with the lead over Horn. Last non-district game of the year for the Horn Jags. They come into tonight officially 0-1, a loss to Mansfield in week 1 before an unofficial game last week against Berkner that was called in the third quarter due to weather. Fake handoff, they run the option, they pitch it. It's a good play. It's Taylor, but he's taken down in the open field by Malachi Youngblood. Really nice tackle made there by Horn on Kamorian Richmond, who got that toss sweep. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Nice play design there. Wingback or running back went in motion about 3 steps to the left of the formation. On the snap of the ball, he turned and went to the right sidelines. Got a pitch from the quarterback on a little option pitch type of a play. And very good play design, very difficult to defend. They picked up 10 yards on the play.
2nd and 10 at the 31. They got all the penalty yardage back on that option play. Now Shaw going high and deep into single coverage, and that pass is intercepted in the end zone. Caleb Norman came away with the football. What a play!
Well, the Arlington Lamar coach is very animated on the far side of the field from where we broadcast. They wanted an interference call on the Horn defensive back. None was forthcoming, though, and as Ryan called it, a nice athletic play jumping high in the air to get that interception. Ryan, who did you say that was?
That was Norman on the pick, and he was one-on-one with Pruitt that time.
Okay, now wait a minute. They're going to talk about this and change the call? No, that surely not. If that's the case, the Horn coaches will have a fit. But looking on the side of the field, it looks like
they're certainly very excited for a team that just threw a pick.
You cannot, there was an official not 5-6 feet from that play. The only person that could maybe change that call or overturn it is the bank judge, who was some 25 yards away.
Wow, they just changed it. It's pass interference. Wow.
I don't know if the coaching staff for Horn knows what just happened yet. They're kind of walking out puzzled, going, what? What are you talking about?
Well, I will say 2 things about it. This is just really more personal opinion than fact than anything at this point. But A, I'm very shocked that they would overturn the call.
Well, me too. Yeah.
B, I think it's the right call. I think Pruitt might have been drugged to the ground there.
Well, I will say this. If I'm the side judge over there, he was standing 6 feet from that play. And this guy back here who was 30 yards away wants to come up and overrule my call.
That'd be an ego hit for me.
I'm going to say, no, you're not. I'm the guy who stands right here. You're not going to overturn my call. Now, I guess the referee would have to get involved at that point and decide who he believes. But at any rate, it's a tough call against the Jags, that's for sure. Now, and to make matters worse, I think that would give them a 1st down.
Yeah, that was 3rd and 10.
Yeah, 3rd and 10. So where is it?
They're going to move the ball to the 16-yard line. So it's a 15-yard penalty. That's the right number on the penalty yardage. They were at the 31-yard line, so move it to the 16. Give them an automatic 1st down. 7-0 Arlington Lamar, just underway 2nd quarter. Shaw brings a man in motion into the backfield. They hand the ball off up the middle, not much. Good job by Horn that time. And another penalty flag comes in after the tackle was made. That was carried by Tyrone Thomas for not much of a gain there, but we have to check on the penalty flag. Joseph Baez made the tackle.
I will say the Jag coaching staff showed considerable restraint and calmness after that. They didn't really, of course, what else are they going to do, I suppose. But anyway, here's it. On the next play, there is a call.
Well, I can tell you what they might do is what Arlington Lamar's coaching staff did.
Well, that's true.
But, I mean, again, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I really do think, and we're here to broadcast for Horn, certainly, but I think that was the right call. I thought it was.
Well, I thought there was definitely a chance it would be called. I agree with you there. I was hoping it was not going to be called.
Yeah.
But if it had been called initially, I would not have been surprised either.
1st and 18 after the penalty. They called that a spot foul. So 1st down and 18. Fake handoff. Shaw's going to keep it. He's in some space. He's at the 20, 15, down to the 10-yard line. Boy, that guy is slippery when he's got some real estate to work with, and a nice carry on 1st and 20 back to the 10-yard line to set up 2nd down and 4. Jeremiah Lane in on the stop for Horn.
This is a good offensive scheme that these guys run from Arlington Lamar. They have some nice play designs involved in it. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They have a quarterback that can do both. They have fine receivers and a big offensive line. So they're 0-2 on the season, but this is a good football team from Arlington, Texas.
Second down and officially 3. Snap to Shaw. Taylor up the middle. Bounces off a would-be tackler. Takes it inside the 5. And will set up first and goal for the Vikings. Malachi Youngblood saved a touchdown for the moment. It'll be first and goal Vikings at the Horn 3. Snap quickly. Handoff. Taylor up the middle. Going to be taken down at the 1. That tackle made by Zachariah Jones. And it will be second and goal at the Horn 1. 7-0 Lamar, looking to pad that lead just a little bit. Again, the handoff to Taylor. They try to basically catapult him into the end zone, and he'll be taken down again at the 1. That tackle made by Liam Mejia. Big 92 for Horn, 6'1", 230-pound defensive tackle.
We talked about the size of the Arlington Lamar offensive line. They have some big guys up there. The Horn guys are good players and quick players, but they are certainly much smaller than the offensive line from Lamar, that's for sure.
And a timeout there was called by Lamar. They're on the doorstep. Third and goal at the 1. 9:16 left here in the second quarter. 7-0 Vikings. Horn Jag football will continue in a moment.
Considering an online pharmacy? Explore BeSafe RX.
Sorry, is this a timeout?
Useful information and
Yes.
resources
Yeah.
to help you purchase medicines safely online. A safe online pharmacy requires a doctor's prescription, has an address in the United States, has a
Except
licensed
the officiating crew was
is
kind of
licensed
slow.
by
I
a state
understand
pharmacy
that, but
board.
I guess the
Advise
penalties
to
made
stay
a lot of
away from
penalties.
online
Yes, that's
pharmacies
it.
that don't meet these criteria. Discover
Not many
more helpful
timeouts
tips
have
and
there been.
resources
No,
at
just one
BeSafe RX.
timeout.
Go to
No injuries.
fda.com/BeSafeRx.
I don't know.
And we're back.
Back to play out of the timeout. It'll be third and goal for Arlington Lamar at the Horn 1-yard line. The Jags defense trying for another red zone stop here. Down 7-0, hoping to not fall behind further here early on in this second quarter of play. And the officials over here on the near side, the referee, the head line judge, and the back judge, or the side judge, I should say, talking.
And the referee strolling out to get his position.
I mean, I tell you what, this guy can never be assigned to a Thursday night game. The absence sheet on Friday would be insurmountable. Here's an option play, lost the ball, and Horn got it. The Jags get the football. Oh my goodness, I don't believe it. The Jags get another takeaway in the red zone. Javaris Williams with the recovery.
Oh, a big play there for the Jags here early in the second quarter. The score is still 7-0. Lamar with the lead, but they were just inches or a yard or so away from making it 14-0. Now the Jags have the ball. That's the good news. But once again, the bad news, they have it inside their own 5-yard line.
I mean, this game should be 21-0 at this point. The Jags defense really standing tall in the red zone. Now the offense has got to pick them up a little bit here. Put together a couple of first downs, flip the field position if nothing else. And Dante Ware back out there to work in a 7-0 ball game, starting at his own 3.5-yard line.
You know, Ware in their first game of the year against Mansfield had 167 yards rushing.
Hands off here on first down. A little bit of room to run for Williams. Trying to dance a little bit too much. Lost his helmet. Penalty flag is down. They'll whistle him dead at about the 6-yard line. Gain of a couple. We'll check on the flag. Gully made the stop for the Vikings. This might be going against Lamar. It might be the reason that Kyron Williams lost his helmet. It's a face mask against Lamar. Well, that's a huge penalty.
Yeah, it really is. So a big aid there for the Jags. Yeah, Dante Ware in that first game against Mansfield had 155 yards passing and 167 yards rushing. I'd like to see him utilize some of that rushing right here to get us out to, midfield or so at least. If not, into the end zone.
That right there's a good start to the drive, aided by the penalty against Lamar. The face mask moves it out to the 21-yard line for Horn. Ball at the left hash. The Jags will send 3 receivers out to the right, running back and H-back to the right, so heavy formation to the right and a handoff up the middle, and Williams got headed downhill in a hurry but then ran into a brick wall after a modest gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 coming up. Christian Gonzalez made the tackle.
Yeah, he really accelerated and was going for that, point of attack there on that offensive play. He saw an opening, as did I. But as you mentioned, boy, Ryan, that closed up in a hurry, and he only picked up a yard.
Yeah, at first glance, I thought that was going to be a big play for the Jags. Ware's trying to get the personnel set right.
Hurry.
Malachi Youngblood is coming to the game now on offense. 3 on the play clock. Ware's got to hurry. 1 on the play clock. They just get it away. Ware will run it himself. Slips through and runs free. 25-30. Outside the numbers at the 35-yard line. Walks out of bounds for a first down for Horn and a gain of 13 for Dante Ware.
Well, a nice run by Ware to pick up the first down, but the first good thing he did was he saw that play clock running down, Ryan, and got his guys hurriedly set and got that snap in his hands about 1 second before they had a delay of game call. Good awareness by Dante Ware there.
Really nice leadership by the Horn quarterback. QB draw. Here's got a lead blocker in front. He's got the speed. Midfield 45-40. Look out. Big play. Turns it back inside. 30, 25. Oh, my goodness. Keep running outside, young man. But a big play nonetheless for Horn. Zion Johnson back to make the tackle, but the Jags now set up on Lamar's side of the 50.
That's as good a quarterback draw play as you will ever see at any level. Well, that was beautiful. Nice play design, well blocked, and a big play for the Horn Jags.
I really thought that Ware could have scored that if he had kept going outside towards the sidelines. Evidently, he didn't see it that way, but he does get to the 27 of Lamar. First down for Horn, right to left in the red jerseys, black pants, and helmets. Low snap, handoff, up the middle, Rodarius Wilson on the carry, and he's got a really nice gain on first down to the 19-yard line. It was Kamara, Abu Kamara with the carry. Gain of 8 to bring up 2nd and 2.
Good-looking drive going here now. This started at the 5-yard line and Horn's into the field.
Face mask penalty against Lamar really helped the Horn cause. I think that gave them the boost that they needed on this drive to get it going. Now Rodarius Wilson will check in as the running back. To the left of Ware in the gun with 3 receivers off to the left. 2nd and short. 6:50 to go in the half. 7-0 Lamar. Another QB draw. Right side Ware. Spun out of a tackle and has a first down as he slides down to the 14-yard line. A gain of 5 more.
Yeah, really good effort there to pick up some yards after first contact. That nice spin move. First down for the Jags. 6:40 to play in the second quarter. Lamar still leads at 7-0. But the Jags are on the move.
And the story of this game so far, both teams have been terrible in the red zone. I mean, 0 in the red zone. Lamar's missed on 2 chances. Horn's missed on 1. The only touchdown, an 87-yard bomb. Snap, handoff, up the middle, Kamara, breaks free, 5, touchdown. Abu Kamara, straight up the gut, 14-yard score. And the Jags a point after away from tying the game.
Well, that opened up nicely and quickly.
That is great blocking at the point of attack by the center and left guard to give Kamara the space he needed. He had the speed to do the rest. And the extra point try now for Norjain Gonzalez to level the game at 7-all with 6:15 left. Here in the first half, it's now 7-7 at Hanby Stadium. Horn and Arlington Lamar. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
Well, Patrick, I don't know if you could get it, but really the big highlight was that long run by Dante Ware. I don't know if you can get that or not.
This brought to you by Dr. Susan
I'll see if I can.
But if not, yeah, the touchdown will be fine.
1128 North Galloway
That was
Avenue in
fine play as
Mesquite.
well.
972-288-4427.
It was very hot in this booth. You said that earlier,
it's
but
just walking up to someone and being yourself.
Inclusion. Let's pass it on. Like 18-year-old Sarah Grisha.
My twin brother Jacob has an autism spectrum disorder. He didn't have any friends,
So Sarah took action. She started Score a Friend.
including people with differences is the right thing to do.
oh, good.
Inclusion is in you. Now pass it on from passiton.com.
And we're back.
Well, good news here at Hanby. Horn has just tied it at 7 against Arlington Lamar. And good news out in Forney, Texas tonight, because the Mesquite Skeeters playing on the road at North Forney lead the Falcons 10-3. That score provided by our student interns Ty Smith and Nora Facio. Big thanks to them for their help. And the Skeeters right now in the lead out there in Forney, Texas. Here's the kickoff. That's muffed. It's picked up now at the 10-yard line. Here's the return. The Jags cover it well. The ball's out again. Somebody grab it down there. Horn thinks they've got it. They do. The Jags got the ball.
All right, here we go.
Well, this is exactly the opposite script of what Horn saw in week 1 when they turned it over 5 times. Now it's the Lamar Vikings who've caught the bug, and the Jags right there to pounce on that loose ball. They've got it at the 20.
All the momentum now on Horn's side of the field over these last few minutes. Let's put this one in the end zone and take the lead. Only 6:06 to play until halftime.
And do remember now that Horn will get the ball first to start the third quarter of play. So this is a real opportunity for the Jags, especially if they can take some time off this clock and go in and push this one in the end zone. Dante Ware, the quarterback, trying to get his receiver lined up correctly on the outside. That's Kai Furch, lined up out to the left. The play clock ran down to 0. The question now is, did Horn get a timeout first? And the answer to that is no. It's a delay of game against the Jags.
Well, that's the first one of those tonight, I believe. Maybe the second. But we've seen a lot of delay of game calls here early in this season.
6:06 to play in the half. Ware with a shotgun snap, play action fake. Now he takes off and runs it himself. Has a big hole. Turns inside 10. He's at the 5. Touchdown, Dante Ware.
Oh, what a move at the 5-yard line, Ryan, to get away from that last defender.
24 yards, and Dante Ware starting to turn it on here at Hanby Stadium. He has given Horn the lead. What a run by the quarterback for Horn High School last week, or 2 weeks ago. 167 rushing yards from the quarterback position, and he has carried the offense with his legs here in the second quarter. The Jags with back-to-back touchdowns. That turnover by Lamar was huge, and now the extra point try by Gonzalez is up and good. And our new score at Hanby Stadium with 5:58 remaining in the first half is Horn 14 and Lamar 7.
Hey guys, he's tough to stop right there.
He's very tough to bring down.
I mean, he can change directions on a dime. I mean, he left that last guy just standing flat-footed at the 5-yard line.
That took 17 seconds from in between scores.
Yeah, you're keeping the scores over there. Yeah, okay, good.
Be a part of their school's performing arts.
What was the play you guys wanted? Was that the long run by Ware?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And band to speech
And then that one, of course, we want that one too.
If you want to perform,
Right.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
for you.
This message presented by the NFHS.
I mean, if you have time to get that one, if not, don't worry about it.
And we're back.
Well, the Jags have turned this game around. Once down 7-0, now lead 14-7. Touchdown runs by Abu Kamara, and then Dante Ware just putting defenders on skates with a 24-yard touchdown run. And now the ensuing kickoff by Norjane Gonzalez towards the north end zone. Stadium lights in full effect now here at Hanby Stadium. The sun completely out of the picture. Line drive, end over end kick, and that will bounce at the 1-yard line into the end zone for a touchback. So it'll come out to the 25, 5:58 to go in the second quarter, and Lamar with the football trailing for the first time in the game. Well, last night, Steve, West Mesquite High School scored 21 points in 32 seconds. Tonight, Horn has scored 14 in 17 seconds.
Well, the Jags showing some offensive power here tonight lately, that's for sure. Horn, by the way, we mentioned this earlier about the tough district. They play in District 11 6A, along with Duncanville, DeSoto, Waxahachie, Lancaster, Skyline, Cedar Hill, and then Mesquite and Horn. That is a tough district, District 11 6A.
I can only imagine the faces, the looks on the faces of the coaches and Cody Groves and everybody associated with Mesquite ISD when that district was unveiled. We'll have a score update for you from Memorial Stadium after this play. Jaden Shaw with a fake handoff. He runs it. He has some room around the left side, outside the numbers with a first down carry. Out across the 35-yard line, walks out of bounds in front of his own bench to the 38 for a gain of 13 and a first down for Arlington Lamar. Over at Memorial, it's Woodrow Wilson 31, Poteet 14. That's homecoming for the Pirates tonight, so the Wildcats of Woodrow Wilson spoiling that at the moment over at Memorial. If you just missed it, the Skeeters on top 10-3 over the North Forney Falcons out in Forney tonight. West Mesquite and North Mesquite have already won this week. Handoff, nothing. And less than nothing. A great play made in the backfield by Horns number 35, Maurice Gendrot. Loss on the play, back to the 36-yard line, loss of 2. It'll be second down and 12.
I talked to some Woodrow Wilson coaches earlier this evening, and you might say, well, why did you do that, Steve? Well, I'll just have to admit to you, Ryan, I went to the wrong stadium earlier. I went to Memorial Stadium, and I was in the elevator with 2 guys wearing red T-shirts. So I asked them, are y'all from Horn High School, I guess? No, we're from Woodrow Wilson. And I said, oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. I got to go.
That explains so much about some thoughts I was having earlier. That might have been a backwards pass. No, they're going to call it incomplete. Little swing pass out into the right flats. They were trying to get the ball quickly into the hands of Pruitt, and he couldn't hold on to it. Fortunately for the Vikings, that pass thrown forward. It'll be third down and 12. Yeah, it was about 6:30 when I was looking around going, well, let me maybe call Steve, and I decided against it. I thought, you know what, he's been doing this long enough. He knows what he's doing. And sure enough, and you walk through the door, and here we are.
Yeah, I talked to those guys from Woodrow Wilson. Told them, well, your game's not on the radio. But ours is. See you later.
Theirs is online. You can't catch that broadcast at KEOM.FM. Tyler Sloan and Matt Kane are over there tonight. Shaw back to throw on 3rd and 12. Plants his back foot, goes deep, has a man, ball caught. Penalty markers down, 10, 5, and pylon. Is that a touchdown? Yes, it is. He's in. It's a long 63-yard touchdown for the moment, but we've got to check a penalty marker back at the 38-yard line.
Boy, I tell you what, an injured player down on the field is a Horn defensive back who came down the field and made a diving attempt at a tackle right down there at the goal line. And he's very slow getting up right now. Let's check the penalty flag and see what it is. Side judge made the call through the flag here on the Horn sidelines. And here we go. Let's see what the referee has to say.
Well, you might have to give him 15, 20 more seconds to make the call. This guy is very methodical.
What in the world is happening? somebody needs to tell us what the deal is here.
Well, evidently it's against Horn because Lamar is trotting out their point after team. Pass interference against the defense. Well, that didn't do us much good. It was still caught for a big touchdown by Kamori and Richmond. 67-yard touchdown that...
Okay, that clarifies everything for sure. Now, why it took that long to call it, I'm not sure. That's not clear.
Well, the extra point now for Arlington Lamar. This is a good ball game. You might wish the pace was a little quicker, but it's a good game nonetheless. The extra point here could tie it with 4:50 remaining in the second quarter. Out of the hold of A.J. Thompson, the extra point is up and good. Angel Oliva tacks on the extra point. 4:50 left here in the second quarter. We're tied again at 14 here at Hanby Stadium. Horned Jags football will continue in a moment.
The Sale Place is a proud sponsor of KEOM Sports. The
Sale Place, where is the
Mom Superstore, 3640
where is Lamar's
in Palm Springs, 972
Horn thing? That train whistle deal they blow like down there.
I was 11 years old.
That thing is so irritating.
I fell. I don't know how.
That was all the rage in high school football for a while.
In U.S.
It's true.
Lovejoy had one that just drove me absolutely insane.
Dedication.
And some of those
Iguana champion.
I was passionate about something, and I made sure that I worked hard for it.
And dedication can make your dreams a reality.
Whatever your dream and goals are, they can come true.
Dedication is in you. Now pass it on from passiton.com. And the bumper.
Well, back and forth we go here at Hanby Stadium. 7-0 Arlington Lamar at one point. 14 unanswered scored by Horn. And then a big play by Lamar to tie it up. 67-yard pass from Jaden Shaw to Kamori and Richmond. And now the ensuing kickoff from Jacob the Otter. High end-over-end kick. Chance to return this for Horn from the 19-yard line. Here's the return by Furch. He reverses field all the way to the left side. Ran about 100 yards to gain about 7. And it'll be first down for the Jags up close to the 40-yard line. Justin Magruder made the tackle on special teams for the Vikings.
Just word of clarification to you, we are getting different scores from around the area on a couple of our games. The score we first have heard from Hanby was Woodrow Wilson 31, Poteet 14, and also from Forney, Mesquite 10, North Forney 3. However, two different reporting entities are reporting different scores. So we're trying to look into that to find out which one of, if this is correct information. But currently, right now, that's the information we do have.
Well, and this is why we had Jenny Johnson doing this for us for years. Just call over to the stadium.
That's true.
To somebody firsthand at the site, tell us what the score is.
We could probably recruit Jenny to come back.
I bet we could. Here's a jet sweep play. This is Kamara. Nice run by Abu Kamara to start the drive around the right end across the 40, up close to the 45-yard line. Going to gain about 8 on that first down carry. Abu Kamara having a nice first half for the Jags.
I talked to Jenny last week on the way home from our broadcast. She was listening all night long to that last week's broadcast. Of course, Jenny, Ed Johnson's wife, my longtime broadcast partner, Ed Johnson, who passed away recently. But Jenny's still a big sports fan. She's probably listening tonight.
I bet you she is, and probably getting ready for Baylor. Who do they play this week?
I do not know.
We'll have to check that. They had a big win last week over SMU. Big come from behind victory. Another handoff to Kamara. He reverses field, has a first down and more, and then finally tripped up at about the 47-yard line. Gain of 5 for Abu Kamara. First down Horn with 3:48 to play here in the first half. Steve, this is a great opportunity for Horn if they can play their cards right to double dip before half. They'll get the ball to start the third quarter of play as well.
Well, that's true. Right now the scoreboard reads 14-14. We're tied up here, but Horn does have the football near midfield.
One timeout remaining for Horn in this first half. Slot on the right, Kamara the running back, handoff to him, started up the middle, turns to the left, runs over a defender, and gets to midfield for a gain of 3. The clock will wind to 3:15 and counting to play here in the second quarter. Jags in not much of a hurry right now. They've got the ball at the Lamar 49. Under 3 minutes remaining here in this first half. Again, a slot on the right. The running back now is Rodarius Wilson. Fake, slant, caught across the middle. Good play. Ware finds the open man across the middle and a first down deeper into Lamar territory. As they unstack, we'll tell you about the receiver who made the catch. Looks like it was C.J. Jones.
Ryan, we
with
have
the reception.
Some clarification on those scores, Poteet score and Mesquite scores that we can give everyone after this play. This comes from Dave Campbell, Texas high school football, which of course is the Bible of high school football in this day.
I trust those guys.
We'll give you the score we have from them in just a second.
Here's the first down snap at the Lamar 33. Ware keeps it, runs around the left side, looking for a block, won't get one. He'll be knocked out of bounds at the line of scrimmage, and there's a penalty flag down back in the pocket that I think will be an offensive holding.
Here are the scores that we have from Dave Campbell's. Poteet is much better for Poteet. Poteet leading Woodrow Wilson 20-12. The other score had him trailing 33-14. But that's when Poteet Pirates 20, Woodrow Wilson Wildcats 12, and Mesquite is leading North Forney 14-7 seems to be the correct score in that ball game.
What was the Mesquite score again?
Mesquite 14, North Forney 7.
Okay. Yeah, those were both entirely different.
Yep.
First down and 20 after a holding penalty against Horn. Ware with a play fake. Back to throw. Goes high and deep. Has a man. First. Dropped it. Right through his hands. Should have been a walk-in touchdown.
Boy, that was a beautiful ball there. Well thrown. It was high in the air, a long time in the air. The receiver had to turn on the jets to get there. But it was certainly catchable as Ryan called it. But it falls incomplete.
There is not a prettier looking home run ball than that right there from Dante Ware. He threw that ball a mile in the air. Just let his receiver, Kai Furch, run underneath it, and Furch did everything but put the squeeze on it.
He had that ball in the air, Ryan, very close to 50 yards. By the time he backed up in the pocket and let it fly, the ball hit the turf at the goal line. That was about a 49-yard throw right there.
Second and 20 now, 2:12 to play in the half. Horn with one timeout remaining. Slot on the left, split end out wide to the right. Kamara is lined up as a receiver in this formation, wide to the left, and with one on the play clock, they're going to reset the play clock, I think I heard.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Good job by the officiating crew to catch that. Some sort of a mistake there on the play clock, but they do reset it.
And if this was the same crew from last week, well, that was a rough go of it on the play clock last week. Ware back to throw, wants to go deep again. This is Kamara. Incomplete again. And another beautifully thrown ball by Dante Ware, but the receivers for Horn right now not picking it up. That should have been first and goal at the 1. I'm not sure that Kamara could have scored that with the angle that he was taking towards the sidelines. But another really big missed opportunity for the Horn offense. It'll be third down and 20 now.
Both of those were long passes that took some time to, get underway and to run. And the offensive line gave the quarterback, Dante Ware, plenty of time to look over the field.
This will be the final play before the 2-minute timeout. Ware will take off and run it. Third down and 20. Got a lot of room in front of him. And a lot of work to do to get the first down. It'll go out of bounds at the 29-yard line. That may have set up an opportunity to go for it on fourth down. 1:57 remaining here in the first half, and that will bring us to the 2-minute timeout with Horn and Arlington Lamar tied at 14 here at E.H. Hanby Stadium. The Jags with a fourth down and 6 at the 29-yard line of Lamar. When you come back, Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
1 in 5 of us is bullied.
Boy, Dante Ware,
that boy can play.
Obese. 1 in 5
in the open
of us
field,
will
one-on-one.
mental distress.
Forget it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to handle that guy.
Adults, we need you.
Yeah,
you're
he's
the
fun.
#1 influence
By
in
the
my
way,
life. If you're more
got
involved with my
confirmation
health
from
and
Matt
education,
James,
I'm
20
more
to 12.
likely to make healthier
good.
choices,
Good.
have greater self-esteem, and do better
He said
in
that
school.
he said that game's taken forever too. They just hit the 2-minute timeout over there.
Stand by at the bumper in 3, 2, 1.
Well, if you missed us talking about this on our broadcast last night, the 2-minute timeout has made its way to high school football, at least in the state of Texas. And from what we could research last night, Texas is the only state that has adopted the 2-minute timeout from the college football ranks.
Interesting.
Oops. So sort of a new wrinkle for coaches to be able to utilize that down the stretch in both the second and the fourth quarter of play. A couple of really big missed chances for Horn on this drive. Now they've set up a 4th and 6 after a 14-yard pickup by Ware on third down. Ware's in the gun, Kamara to his left, false start Horn. Movement at the line of scrimmage.
Well, a couple of the coaches on the near sideline really upset about that. They called it. They had a 2-minute timeout to go over this play. They had the 2-minute timeout. Everybody leaves the sidelines. Everybody's on the same page, what the play's going to be. Then you go out there and you have an illegal procedure and a 5-yard mark-off. And the coaching staff for Horn down there on the near sidelines not happy about it.
So now it's 4th down and 10. They've got to get to the 24-yard line of Lamar for a first down. Tied at 14, under 2 to go here in the first half. It's been a compelling and slow-moving first half of play here at Hanby. Snap back to Ware. He wants to throw. 5-step drop. Rolls to the left. Fires on the run. 2 men there. 1 makes the catch. Cutting in front of Kamara was Furch to make the grab and go out of bounds for a Horn first down.
Boy, Furch made sure of that when he jumped up in the air and took that ball in both hands, tucked it away safely. He wasn't going to drop that one. Nice play there by the wide receiver, and for Horn, in a very well-thrown ball once again by Dante Ware.
And I don't know if that was miscommunication on the routes, but Kamara was right there in the same neighborhood. If Furch didn't make the catch, I think Kamara would have. First down, Horn at the Lamar 14. Still plenty of time to go. They're going to go fade. Left side, Furch, incomplete. But the defender face guarding Furch there with his arms all over him. That's an easy defensive pass interference call against Lamar. Almost as easy as it gets.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was very obvious pass interference. It'll be against Lamar.
So that'll move the ball down to about the 7 or 8 yard line.
What are they doing here? There it goes. Now they're finally marking it off.
And this is very interesting to me, Steve. We've seen Ware throw that pattern several times tonight. You usually see quarterbacks get a lot more air underneath that throw. They try to almost like they're going to shoot it into a trash can. Ware kind of throws that flat. Hasn't been very successful yet tonight. Fake handoff. Ware keeps it. He's in trouble. They're going to hit him in the backfield. Back at about the 10-yard line, it'll be second down and goal to go. 1:40 and counting to play here in the first half. The Horn does still have one timeout remaining, and they're going to stop the clock for a moment to check on an injured Lamar Viking down on the field.
Well, in this situation here, if the Jags just take care of the football, the worst-case scenario is that we should be able to get 3 points on a field goal here just before halftime. And we mentioned the district that Horn plays in. Let's talk about Arlington Lamar. They play in District 8-6A, along with Arlington Bowie, Arlington High School, Haltom, South Grand Prairie, Arlington, Martin, Lamar, Sam Houston, and Grand Prairie. The playoff teams last year from that district were Bowie, Arlington, Haltom, and South Grand Prairie.
Now, Arlington ISD has had some really good teams over the year, mostly from Martin, a little bit from Lamar, some from Arlington High School. Arlington Seguin is a really good program at the 5A level.
Of course, a number of years ago, Eddie Peach had a number of really outstanding teams coaching for Arlington Lamar. But that was back, is that 80s, I guess, maybe? I don't know. It was a good while back.
They've figured out the injury. Looked like that player was able to get off to the sideline under his own power, so that's good news. 2nd and goal for Horn, back at the 9-yard line. Tied at 14, a minute and a half to go here in the half. Back to throw Ware, pump fake, spun out of a would-be tackle, but then lost his footing. That'll officially go as a sack for Talon Martinez. A big loss back to about the 17 or 18-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd and goal now.
Yeah, they decided to heat him up there with they came off the edge and a lot of a lot of quickness. They were in a hurry to get to the quarterback, and he didn't really have much of a chance there. He did try a spin move. If he had been able to keep his footing after the spin move, he might have had something to work with, but not so.
Yeah, and they brought, I think, 6 on that play, so dropping 5 in coverage. If Ware had been able to keep his footing there, I think he probably would have found an open receiver down the field, potentially in the end zone. But again, good pressure by Lamar, and Horn has to take its final timeout here. Remember that this drive has had 2 dropped passes by Horn that could have been touchdowns, so trying to cash this in with 1:15 remaining. Tied at 14, we'll step aside for Horn's final timeout of the half. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
Some people would call him a loser. He ran for state office.
This is going to be
He started a business.
an hour and 35 minutes at least. An hour and 35 minute halftime.
He lost the game.
The one half
Only
was.
those who never tried.
That's ridiculously slow pace to this game.
And Abraham Lincoln.
The same thing is happening over at Memorial. Matt's texting me right now.
Pass it on. From the foundation for a better life.
Since he texted
Stand by for bumper in 3, 2, 1.
Well, one of the longer first halves maybe we've ever called here on KEOM Radio. We're usually, a couple segments deep into our halftime report at this point, but not so tonight. 3rd down and goal to go at the 18. Snap back to Ware. They bring 6. Ware gets rid of it. Kamara was open in the flats. Had one guy to get by for the end zone, and the pass too high off his hands, incomplete.
So coming up will be about a 35-yard field goal attempt. The line of scrimmage is the 18, a 7-yard snap back to the 25, of course the 10 of the end zone. So a 35-yard field goal attempt coming up here.
It'll be from the left hash to try to give the Jags the lead back. Norjane Gonzalez from 35 yards away to give the Jags some points on this long drive. It's away, it is up, it is good, just inside the right upright. 1:07 left here in the first half. It's now Horn 17 and Arlington Lamar 14, and they're in a slow-moving game over at Memorial as well. I'm texting back and forth with Matt Kane, who's over there broadcasting, and he said that in about 9 minutes of real time, only 47 seconds of game time had come off the clock. So I don't know, maybe they have like the cousin crew of this one over at Memorial tonight, just sort of leisurely running things, or...
But, well, anyway.
Listen, there are a lot of worse places we could be in the world than watching high school football, so I'm not complaining.
No. It's just slower than usual, put it that way.
Lovejoy High School got a big win last night, 42-6 over Frisco Liberty. The Fighting Farmers of Louisville beat Rockwall by 7 last night. That was a little bit of an upset. There have been some really good matchups in Texas high school football over the first 3 weeks of the season.
Billy Quinton, the play-by-play man for the Rockwall Yellow Jackets, was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, but I know he's back on the air tonight for Rockwall, so glad to hear that.
Yeah, I did not realize Billy had been in the hospital. Billy's a good guy, good broadcaster, been doing that out in Rockwall for, over a decade or more. Ensuing kickoff by Gonzalez out the end zone. It'll be a touchback coming out to the 25-yard line. Arlington Lamar with 3 timeouts and 1:07 to play with here at the end of the second quarter. The Cowboys, of course, will play Sunday against the New York Giants. Both teams looking for their first win of the season after they lost to divisional opponents in Week 1. Cowboys losing to the Eagles and the Giants falling to the Commanders. The Packers thoroughly handled the Commanders last night on Thursday Night Football. The Packers are 2-0 now after their win over Detroit in Week 1. Here's a fake handoff. Shaw keeps it around the left end and gets the 30, maybe the 31-yard line for a gain of 6 to start this drive.
He's a dangerous player. I mean, he was one step away from about a 25-yard gain there, but let's see who made that tackle, Ryan. That was a very nice defensive play from the inside.
That was Cameron Williams who made that stop. He had the interception earlier for Horn down on the goal line. Snap back, Shaw with some time, goes deep down the left side in single coverage, incomplete, but here's the flag. Caleb Norman beside himself at the call. Looked like a pretty good call to me, unfortunately, down there, Caleb. I thought you maybe had your arm on Camille Pruitt, and you know what? I might too, because that Pruitt guy has got some speed.
Yeah, I mean, just don't let him go downtown on you. Don't let him get the home run ball. If you have to tackle him, get a 10-yard penalty, which is what we're going to get here. But do not let him get behind you and score a touchdown.
You might say that the margin for error in covering a guy like Camille Pruitt is wispy.
Yes, using that same term we broke out and used earlier in the broadcast. We could indeed say that.
32 seconds left. The penalty moves it up to the Lamar 46. Still 3 timeouts left, so they could run the ball here if they wanted to. Shaw in the gun, running back off to his left. 4 receivers in the formation. Back to throw. Horn brings 4. Shaw gets rid of it. Fires up top to Pruitt. Complete. Near the marker. Out of bounds to stop the clock with 28 seconds. Gains 8.
Good coverage that time, as I don't want to give up the big play. We were in cover 2 that time. The 2 safeties did a nice job of covering the receivers down each seam. They did throw underneath the coverage, but picked up, 7 yards or so.
They finally hit halftime over at Memorial, 27-14 Poteet. 2nd and 3 here. Shaw rolls the pocket to his right. Now looks to run. He'll have the first down with second effort to the Horn 43-yard line. Timeout called by Lamar to preserve the clock with 23 seconds to play. Jaden Shaw, you've said it a couple of times, Steve, but he is dangerous if he gets out into some space. The Jags fortunate to close that down quickly on him right there. They do move the chains. It'll be a new first set of downs here for Arlington Lamar at the Horn 43-yard line, and we don't have much to tell you about the Lamar kicker, so not quite sure where the target would be to try to get into field goal range with the clock winding down here in the first half. By the way, stay tuned for our Whataburger of Mesquite halftime report. We'll have scores from all around the area, stats from the first half of play, and we'll start it off as always with our Whataburger trivia question and give away a $25 gift certificate to Whataburger. And that question tonight will revolve around football.
Yes, it will.
We'll get a little more specific as we get closer to halftime. And based on the rate at which we're getting there, we will have about 17 more clues to give you in the 23 seconds remaining in the half.
Yeah, at least one, probably two more timeouts coming before halftime. 23 seconds on the clock.
3 to the left, 1 to the right, snap back to Shaw, clean pocket, wants to go deep, in single coverage again, and that ball's caught inbounds at the 10-yard line. Going up to make the catch on a corner route was Pruitt.
That's a long way to reach on that corner route for the safety, a two-deep safety situation. The safety did break on the ball nicely, but he didn't quite get there in time. The receiver did jump up and make the play just inbounds down at the 10-yard line.
Chance for Lamar to maybe go in front before the half. 17 seconds left. Still have 2 timeouts. Pruitt got out of bounds. Fake handoff. Shaw keeps it. Puts his foot in the ground. He's at the 5. He scores. Jaden Shaw puts Lamar back in front. A 10-yard touchdown run with 11 seconds to play here in the first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good ball game all the way to the end. Both of these offenses have very good quarterbacks that can operate within the systems they are running. Big play guys both. Jaden Shaw of Arlington Lamar, Dante Ware of Horn. This is going to be a good one. Stay with us all night long.
That drive took about a minute 20 seconds off the clock. And Lamar back in front 20-17. Here's the point after try. And it is up and good. Well, 11 seconds remaining here in this first half of play. And Lamar back in front now 21-17. And boy, there's just so many storylines in this first half of play. It's been sort of a story of missed opportunities for both teams, Steve. Lamar has had a couple of chances in the red zone where they've come up with 0 points. Horn had a drive earlier in this second quarter where they had 2 touchdown passes, both dropped by their receivers. They had to settle for a field goal on that drive. This has been a really compelling ball game that we've seen so far between two pretty good teams.
A lot of big plays for both squads, and we have a 21-17 score. Lamar, a 4-point lead over the Horned Jags.
It was 7-0 at the end of one, so we've had 31 points scored in this second quarter. 21-17 Lamar. They'll kick it off to the Jags. Horn has no timeout, so I would imagine if they don't get a good return here, they'll just run the football and head to the locker room.
Well, the football is just now on the tee. And I thought they only had a certain amount of time for kickoff after a touchdown, but the play clock is not running here. Maybe they don't do that anymore, but they used to have a certain time limit that kickoff team had to kick it away. Seems like a long time since the touchdown was scored.
I'm just going to be honest here. I don't think it's the players. I think it's the officials. Oh, that hit a Horned Jag. It's loose, and fortunately it bounces right to a teammate. Wow. You know, I'm a little surprised more teams don't try to do that right there. The kicker for Lamar just launched that ball right at a Horned Jag who had no chance to catch that. He had no option there other than just let it rocket off of him.
Yeah, he kicked it about ankle high, I guess.
Yeah.
A low line drive kick.
And it bounded right up to number 48 for Horn. Well, it must have not been 48. Maybe it was 46, Josiah Gibson. But the Jags fortunate to recover that. 9 seconds left. They've got the ball at their own 41. And I don't know, maybe the Jags try a quick strike to the sidelines here, see if they can maybe get close to field goal range. No. They say we'll just go to the locker room. A knee is taken by Dante Ware, and that'll be it for the first half of play. 21-17 Lamar in a back-and-forth game here at Hanby Stadium. It's halftime. Our Whataburger of Mesquite halftime report starts after this. Horned Jags football will continue in a moment.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to inspire others.
Why do thousands of teenagers here in Texas participate in high school sports and activities?
My reason why is friendship.
Their reasons are as diverse as the students themselves. But the one thing they all share is the opportunity to have fun and learn important
give the
life
question
lessons.
Here, Patrick, and
lessons
then we'll
like
take
supporting their community,
pretty long break.
Learning how to be a leader, and building lifelong friendships.
My reason why is defying expectations.
Is there a grade school or middle school student in your family? Then encourage them to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school.
My reason why is to make a change in the world.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Texas University Interscholastic League.
Coming back in 3, 2, 1.
It is halftime here at Mesquite's E.H. Hanby Stadium alongside Steve Glenn. I'm Ryan Castle on hand. Patrick Ross back at Master Control. Our entire KEOM crew here with you tonight from Hanby Stadium. 21-17, Arlington Lamar with the lead. A back and forth first half of play that we'll tell you more about as the halftime report progresses. But right now, let's start, as always, with our Whataburger trivia question. We'll give away a gift card to Whataburger, $25 to the person who calls in with the answer to this question, 972-882-7749. Tonight's question centers around one of the best matchups in college football this weekend, one of the only top 25 matchups. In fact, there's only 2 of them this week, and one of those is in the SEC. It's an SEC matchup between Georgia and Tennessee. Georgia currently ranked in the top 6 in the country, and their quarterback is Gunnar Stockton. He's having a great year so far for the Georgia Bulldogs. But tonight's question is not about Gunnar. It's about one of the all-time best quarterbacks at the University of Georgia, a guy who would go on to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL to the Detroit Lions. He'd win a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams just a couple of years ago. That guy's name is Matthew Stafford, and the question tonight is, where did Matthew Stafford play his high school football? If you know the answer to that question, give us a call, 972-882-7749. The first to call in with the correct answer will win that $25 gift card from Whataburger. The phone already ringing behind me, and so here in just a moment, I'm sure we'll have a winner. That's not a terribly hard question. No offense if you don't get it right, but that one is not, I don't know, it's maybe a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, pretty easy. He's a very famous guy from, even while in Texas playing high school football, he was famous and still is, of course, playing as a former player from this part of the state of Texas. Talking about high school football, let's take a look at some scores from around the state of Texas last week for some highly ranked teams. Duncanville had a great ball game last week against South Oak Cliff. The Golden Bears gave them quite a battle, but Duncanville finally won that one 35-28. I think most people really thought Duncanville would handle South Oak Cliff a little easier than that.
That game was not very close in the early going. Duncanville jumped out to a big lead. I think it was 28-7 at one point. Duncanville had the lead over Sauk, but the Golden Bears fought back, made it a close game late, and that's not the only. I know you're going to tell us a couple of more, Steve, but when we were looking at the scores last week and the games that were going on, man, there were some good matchups.
Yeah, there really were. Now, Allen had no trouble with Cedar Hill. Allen, the number 4 team in the state, won that one 38-0. But Austin Lake Travis ranked number 5 in the 6A poll. They beat Rockwall last week 28-20. The Yellow Jackets playing a very tough pre-district schedule. They'll be ready to go for district play. But Lake Travis, the number 5 team in the state, beat Rockwall last week. Atascocita, this is a big battle from down around the Houston area. Atascocita ranked number 8 in the state, beat the Katy Tigers. Katy, a longtime perennial power in Texas high school football. Atascocita last week beat Katy 52-13. And let's check some other scores. Forney High School lost a tough one to A&M Consolidated. The Jackrabbits played well against a highly ranked top 10 team out of 5A Division I, but A&M Consolidated, actually, now let me check that. I'm saying it wrong. Forney it was who won that game against A&M Consolidated. Forney with the win, 38-21. So congratulations to the Yellow Jackets on a big win last week. Now the Sealy Tigers, the former high school of Eric Dickerson, a great running back, of course, at SMU and later in the professional ranks. Can you imagine Eric Dickerson playing 3A football at Sealy?
That's a man among boys right there.
Must have been something. Now, Sealy now, the number 5 ranked team in the state of Texas in 4A Division II. Sealy beat Cameron Yo 64-0. And talking about, we always try to keep up with some small-town Texas scores. Last week, the Hamlin Pied Pipers, Hamlin High School beat Seymour 35-21. I'm not sure who was in charge of picking Hamlin's mascot, but that's an interesting one. Anyway, Hamlin with a nice win last week. Now, the San Saba Armadillos, we always keep up with the Armadillos, or the Dillos they call them, and that part of the state. Junction beat San Saba last week 20-6, so the Armadillos will have to regroup this week. And Muleshoe High School, the Muleshoe Mules, they came up with a win over La Mesa 32-24. Those are some small-town Texas scores.
I am 100% convinced, and you cannot talk me out of it, that the only reason the papers still post those scores is because they know you read them on the air every week on our broadcast. They hear the broadcast, and you know what they say every week? You know, should we put the San Saba score in there? I don't know. I don't think anybody really cares. Well, wait a minute. Steve, he's going to read it. We got to put it in there for Steve Glenn.
That's exactly right. We have a big following, nearly a cult following nowadays, for the San Saba Armadillos.
Oh.
Anyway, Ryan, do you have a winner over there on the halftime?
Yeah, we do. And it's somebody that you know, Tim Worley from Mesquite, Texas, who is a graduate of Mesquite High School in 1982. And he says that you were his PE teacher in 1979. And Tim Worley called in first tonight to tell us that Highland Park was the high school of Matthew Stafford before he went on to star at the University of Georgia and then in the National Football League. So congratulations, Tim. Thanks for listening tonight, and we'll send you that $25 gift card to Whataburger.
Tim, a former Skeeter. Yeah, my first year at Mesquite High School, I did have two or three PE classes back in those days. That was a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly how many, but I did have at least one. And I also taught health. I think Tim was in that health class as well. So, Tim, nice hearing from you, and congratulations. We'll mail you out that $25 gift card from Whataburger of Mesquite.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with some more halftime programming for you here from Hanby Stadium. 21-17, Lamar with the lead over Horn at the half. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment. Okay, Patrick, let's play about 5.
Kids to grow up safe and healthy.
Okie dokie.
So we show them and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is love for the game.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship, and most of those are worth far less than the cost of tuition. So, why do they play?
My reason why is commitment.
My reason why is friendship.
A sense of purpose, love for the game, to help others, friendship. There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports and to participate in other high school activities like cheerleading, debate, and music. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Texas University Interscholastic League.
As a child, sitting down for a home-cooked meal made by my mom always brought the family together. But now, as our lives get busier between work and my family's activities, it's hard to prioritize those moments. That's why I love listening to A Savory Moment on 88.5 FM. Chef Sandra Lewis serves up a delicious blend of tips, tricks, and techniques in the kitchen that are easy to follow. It brightens my day to hear her personal stories about family and food. I've been inspired to savor all my moments and bring them to the table to share with my family. If you're looking for new recipes, new ingredients, and new ideas that can turn even a routine meal into something you can savor with your family, tune into A Savory Moment here on KEOM every Friday at 6:45 in the morning, 3:45 in the afternoon, or 6:45 in the evening. It's all about quality time at the table because, as Chef Sandra says, that's where life happens.
9,997. No.
Suppose Thomas Edison had given up.
9,998.
But his failures only led him to the next idea.
9,999.
Picture Times Square, dim, Las Vegas dark, your home black. Picture no electric light.
10,000. Come on.
Optimism. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Pass it on.
Here's a short quiz. Who won Best Actress last year? Who won the World Series 2 years ago? And finally, name your favorite teacher.
Pass it on.
Now, I'm guessing that the last question was the easiest. Why is that? Because that person made a difference in your life. So, go ahead and make a difference. Because making a difference is in you. PassItOn.com.
KEOM is known for entertaining and informing the community. We love classic hits, community involvement, and offering quick tidbits that reveal knowledge to help you stay in the know on a variety of topics, even the medical world. A great example is our syndicated feature Medical Discovery News, where Professors David Measle and Norbert Herzog bring biomedical news from days of old and discoveries that are happening today that will change the medical field tomorrow. During their 2-minute conversations, Dr. Measle and Dr. Herzog explain puzzling biomedical questions,
Okay, Patrick, you there?
scientific discoveries,
Yes, I am.
all of us appreciate
How many is this right now?
This is number 5. 15 seconds left.
Want to check it out?
Okay.
Medical Discovery News airs 6:45 in the morning and 10:45 at night
Ready
on
for it?
Saturdays and
Yeah.
Sundays right here on KEOM. Medical Discovery News. Take a listen.
Back to you
I
in
bet you'll
3,
be entertained
2,
and informed.
1.
Welcome back to Mesquite's Hanby Stadium tonight. We broadcast from Hanby, Horn versus Arlington Lamar. It's halftime. The teams are in the locker rooms and the bands and drill teams are on the field doing a great job as always. Lamar leads at 21-17 over the Horn Jags. On this portion of the halftime show, let's talk about some college football. Talk about a little information from the top 25 in the college rankings. The number 1 team in the nation in college football as play starts this week, of course, is Ohio State. They're 2-0 on the year. They beat Texas on week 1. They played Grambling State last week and picked up a 70-0 win. They play Ohio this week. Penn State, the number 2 team in the nation. They play Villanova. That should not give them much trouble there. Now, LSU has an interesting game, Ryan, coming up. LSU ranked number 3 in the nation in this week's poll. They'll play Florida. Florida ranked number 13.
Yeah, Florida came off a tough loss last week to South Florida. That was the Bulls' second upset victory to start the year. They beat Boise State in week 1 by a good margin, 34-7. South Florida over Boise State. Then South Florida beat Florida in the Swamp. You know, I think that guy at Florida, his clock is ticking. I think he might be on the way out there in Gainesville. But big game again for South Florida this week. They play Miami, and if they get by that one, Steve, Matt and I were looking at their schedule last night while we were on the air. There's a real chance they'll be in the playoff if they can get by Miami. And even if they are not able to, if it's a close ball game, I think you'd have a real tough time thinking that South Florida wouldn't run the table and be in the 12-team playoff as the group of 5 representative. But, yeah, that'll be a good, interesting game tomorrow. LSU versus Florida. Of course, LSU had that big win over Clemson in week 1. And interested to see how Florida will bounce back after their loss last week.
Another 2 teams that are in the top 25 meet each other also. It's Georgia playing on the road against Tennessee. Georgia ranked number 4 in the nation. Tennessee at number 22, and that should be a good ball game.
Yeah, it will, and that's at Neyland Stadium in Tennessee. That is a tough place to play a college football game, so that'll be a good test for Georgia to go in there and see what they've got with Gunnar Stockton. Kirby Smart's teams are tough. They play tough football, good, solid, fundamental football, so that'll be a good game tomorrow. SEC opener for both teams.
At number 7 in the nation this week is the Texas Longhorns. They beat San Jose State last week, 38-7. They play UTEP. I don't know much about UTEP, but I would think obviously the Longhorns will be safe in that ball game, I would think. But Clemson has an interesting opponent, I think. They play Georgia Tech. You never know what Georgia Tech might do.
Well, last week, did you watch or keep up with that Clemson game at all? They played Troy. They were down 16-0.
Oh, that's right. I
in
remember
that game to Troy. Now, they did come back and win it 28-16, so they figured some things out. They came back and won the ball game, but Clemson is off to a shaky start. They had the loss to LSU. They had the close game against Troy, and Georgia Tech's a good team. They've got Haynes King at quarterback, a dual-threat guy who can run it and throw it, the former Aggie. So keep an eye out maybe for Georgia Tech and an upset alert for that one tomorrow.
SMU, the Mustangs of SMU this week, number 17 in the nation. They had an unbelievable game with the Baylor Bears last week that went into double overtime. Baylor with that win, 48-45. SMU at number 17, they play at Missouri State. Don't know much about Missouri State either, really. But did you see any of that game last week?
Yeah, that was an incredible comeback by Baylor. Sawyer Robertson just doing a fantastic job at quarterback for Baylor, a guy who is favored to win the Heisman, I would think, at this point, and a lot of people think he could be the number 1 overall pick, or at least the first quarterback taken in next year's draft if he comes out, and had another great game. Another game where he had 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, and a huge comeback for Baylor. I think they were down 14 with 6 minutes remaining in that one and came back and won it.
Number 19 in the nation is the Aggies of Texas A&M. They beat Utah State last week 44-22, and they have a huge game coming up this week against number 9 ranked Notre Dame. That's a huge game for the Aggies.
Yeah, and it's a rematch of the game that they played last year in College Station. Notre Dame won that game, first game of the season last year for both teams. Now it's the 3rd game for Texas A&M, the 2nd for Notre Dame, and I think the thing to watch in that game, Steve, is how A&M is able to defend the run game for Notre Dame. They have one of the best rushing attacks in the country with Jeremiah Love. And quite frankly, A&M has been atrocious stopping the run their first 2 weeks. Now, they haven't played very good opponents. They've been able to get away with it and win those games pretty handedly, but they have not been good against the run. And now going up against one of the best rushing attacks in the entire country, that will be what to watch for tomorrow in that primetime game in South Bend.
You're listening to KEOM Radio and our coverage tonight of MISD varsity football. It's at the half. Arlington Lamar leads Horn High School 21-17. We'll be back for the kickoff for the second half after this word.
Let's be real.
Okay, you can play
getting
4 more at least.
And making it to the pros are pretty slim.
Has the other band already? Have they already had a drill team?
Becoming a pro athlete,
I think so.
even a famous one.
Okay, so
I've got
but that's
scores,
not why I play.
and we can do stats.
My reason why?
Okay, you want to bring it back quicker than that?
No.
Okay,
My
4
reason
will
why
be
is
good.
community.
Patrick.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to challenge myself.
My reason why is love for the game.
And hey, if we don't make it to the pros or onto the cover of Sports Illustrated, that's okay. because there's every reason to believe we'll excel in something even bigger than sports. We'll excel in life.
There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the
You have
NFHS and the Texas University
Sunnyvale score.
Interscholastic
They're
League.
playing Caddo Mills.
Yeah, but let me look.
Space science
this
is
says
moving at
Mesquite
an
14,
accelerating
North
pace,
47.
with deep space probes
Yes, that's
exploring
still
the
accurate.
environments of planets and moons
Yeah,
in our solar
Sunnyvale,
system,
I do not have
and
the score.
orbiting telescopes offering images of celestial objects
go to
within
Sports
and far beyond
wait.
our galaxy.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
We're confronted by
Where
so
are they
many
now?
amazing
YouTube?
revelations and events. It's
Facebook.
easy to feel lost in space.
Ezekiel
Stargate brings
should
it all down to Earth
send me
and
something.
enables us to do a little space exploration
Probably
ourselves.
don't follow them on
Produced by
Facebook,
the University
so-
of Texas McDonald Observatory, Stardate is a daily feature on
I think I said this to you last week or the week before, but that was the nice thing about Sportsgram. Not only the good coverage of the teams and all that, but you could go there and you could get several updates. There was one place to go for several
so if you
different
think outer
schools.
space is over your head, listen to Stardate on 88.5 KEOM. Mornings and evenings at 7:15. Afternoons
Sunnyvale,
at
what would that be?
4:15.
Sunnyvale football?
Music, sports, and information. KEOM Mesquite.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in?
Sunnyvale Raider
Look no further
Media.com.
than the high school student athletes right here in Texas. High school sports teach young people
this
how to
is
be
YouTube.
effective leaders. It begins by making their grades.
Here's a Sea Life
and
ad.
being on time for practice.
Yeah, we're
It
a
includes
sponsor on
learning
there.
to listen, following directions, accepting
Ernie.
responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future.
I think I saw 21-7.
High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Texas University Interscholastic League and the Texas High School Athletic Directors
Hey, I'll say
Association.
this. Rockwalls, I watched a little bit of theirs. Their score bug and
Have you ever
little
wondered about the
tracker down
origin
at the
of
bottom
Smarties
with the
or the
scrolling
signs of that perfect new
text.
car
That looks
smell?
really good.
Want to hear about talking drums or the amazing feats of
Does
Secretary
they still have a
Curtis?
commercial on there?
Well, Mesquite
Yeah, this is
KEOM's
still
Fact
going. See
File
why.
is for you.
Okay, you
Every
must have
week,
clicked on
KEOM's talented
something
students
other
and
than
staff
football.
dive
There we
into
go.
the strange,
21
the
to
silly,
7.
and the seriously interesting.
Third quarter.
From bizarre occurrences to head-scratching
What quarter?
phenomena,
Third
Fact
quarter.
File
Just
delivers
started
fun,
the third quarter.
fast, and fascinating
Sunnyvale
facts
lead?
you'll be itching
Yeah.
to share. Fact File
So is
plays
this
every
David and
Thursday
Dawn?
at
Or
6:45
David
and
I don't know if
11:45
it's-
in the morning, and later
think it's
at
Crosker,
6:45 in the
Shelton
evening.
Crosker,
You can
Brandon
even catch it on
Crosker.
the weekends with programs on Saturday morning at 9:45 and later in the afternoon
David's
at
on there, I think.
3:45 and
Yeah.
6:45. Curiously interesting,
his
unexpectedly
twins are
funny,
playing,
and
aren't they?
always out of the ordinary.
What'd you say, Patrick?
That's Fact File.
10 seconds.
Only on
10 seconds.
88.5
His
KEOM,
twins play.
where
Three,
facts come to
2,
life.
1.
It's halftime here at Hanby Stadium, 21-17. The Lamar Vikings lead the Horned Jags, and we'll give you some updates on scores from around the area right now. Over at Memorial Stadium, Poteet has a lead on homecoming. They're playing Woodrow Wilson. 27-14 is the lead for Poteet over Woodrow Wilson, and it's 14-7 Mesquite High School leading North Forney at the half over in Forney tonight. Some other scores going on from around the area. Waxahachie leads Forney 21-7. That's a big lead for the Indians over the Jackrabbits, 21-7 right now. That game being played in Waxahachie. Argyle leads Mansfield Timberview 28-13. At South Lake Carroll 45. Byron Nelson 3. Big lead for the Dragons in that ball game. Coppell over Arlington Bowie 40-7. Denton Geyer has a 27-14 lead over North Crowley in a big matchup tonight. Flower Mound Marcus 37, Richardson Pierce 14, Prosper Walnut Grove all over Frisco Emerson 49-0. Cedar Hill bouncing back nicely from that loss last week to Allen. They lead Red Oak 41-3. And look at this score. Wow. Just again, another week of some huge matchups in high school football. South Oak Cliff and Longview at the half, tied at 10. Salina 22, Gunner 12, and then some other scores from last night that are finals already this week. Louisville 28, Rockwall 21, Plano beat McKinney 17-12, and Lovejoy all over Frisco Liberty 63-19. And by the way, if you missed it, we mentioned it earlier in our broadcast, but Mesquite ISD picked up 2 wins last night, both by 2 of our 5A teams in district play. District 6 5A Division I getting underway last night. It was West Mesquite with a big win over Molina, 63-7. And then North Mesquite beat Bryan Adams 55-7. So some big wins by North Mesquite and West Mesquite. And those 2 teams will play one another next weekend at Memorial Stadium. It'll be a renewal of that sort of new rivalry. Those 2 teams didn't play one another until about 4 years ago in varsity football, but all of those matchups have been close ones between North and West, and they'll play September the 19th, 1 week from tonight, over at Memorial Stadium. Well, let's pull up the stats, if we can, from the first half of play in this one as the teams make their way back out of the locker room. It's Horn trailing Arlington Lamar at the half by a score of 21-17 as we pull up the stats from the first half of play. Total yards, Arlington Lamar has a big advantage there, 335 yards of offense in the first half. My goodness, Horn had 226. The team's pretty even on first downs. Lamar with 14, Horn with 13. Horn has 194 rushing yards in the first half to 115 for Lamar. Passing yards is a big advantage for Lamar. They have 220 passing yards, 32 for Horn in that first half. That almost doesn't seem right to me, but that's what the Dallas Morning News has. They have Dante Ware at 3 out of 10 passing for 32 yards, but they do have him for a big game so far on the ground. 13 carries for $119 and a touchdown. Abu Kamara, 5 carries for 37 yards and a score. Rodarius Wilson had 2 carries for 21 yards. The leading ball carrier for Arlington Lamar is the quarterback, Jaden Shaw, who has 75 yards on 9 attempts and a touchdown for the Vikings. Leading receiver in the game, Camille Pruitt, 3 catches, 126 yards and a touchdown in the first half, and we've got to figure out a way to keep that guy in front of us.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's a big play guy. He's turned in a lot of big plays already against us. We have a whole half to play. We can move the football. We can score on the Vikings. Now, you know, what we have to worry about is can we stop them? Now, we held them to 21 in the first half, but you know, that's a little misleading because they did turn the ball over a couple of times as they were going in to get some more points. So we need our defense to step up and play a little stronger here in the second half. And I think we'll be fine as far as offense goes. You know, Arlington Lamar, their 2 previous games, they had only scored 14 in one game, 21 in the next. They were averaging 18 points a ball game. Tonight they have 21 at the half. So we're going to have to, I don't know, I don't think it's realistic to think we can shut them out necessarily the second half, but we need to limit those guys to maybe 1 touchdown here in the second half of play.
Hey, by the way, we didn't get a chance to talk about this at halftime, but I guess technically it's still halftime. We haven't kicked off yet. The Texas Rangers 8, the New York Mets 3 tonight.
Good.
The Rangers stay hot and win another ball game tonight. I think that's like 16 out of 21 or something like that for Texas over the last nearly a month. They have just been playing red hot, trying to make the playoffs. Lamar kicking off to start this third quarter towards the south end zone. Lining up the kickoff will be Jacob Viador. And he gets away a high end-over-end kick. A chance to return from the 18-yard line. This is Furch trying to reverse field to his left. Now throws on the brakes and cuts up field across the 30. Nice move by Kai Furch, and Horn will start at its own 31-yard line. Tackle made on special teams by Marco Harris.
The Horn Jags next week will be in action against the Lancaster Tigers. They'll be on the road in Lancaster. That'll be a tough assignment 1 week from tonight.
Yep, district play begins in that vaunted District 11-6A with Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Waxahachie, Lancaster, Mesquite, and Horn. First down, Jags right to left in the red jerseys, black pants, black helmets, handoff on first down. Cameron Williams up the middle to the 35-yard line for a gain of 3 on the first play of the drive. It'll be second down and about 6. They actually gave him the 36-yard line.
Good, safe first down play. First play of the second half. Solid 4-yard gain. It's second down and 6.
Story in that first half, missed opportunities for both teams. Lamar had a couple of trips in the red zone that they came up empty on because of turnovers. Jags had a couple of deep passes that should have been caught for long touchdowns. And here is Williams rumbling and stumbling his way to a first down out across the 40, across the 45 to the 48-yard line before Ja'Cory Ellis got him. That is a gain of 12 and a first down.
Williams on a good, tough run there. He's having a little trouble with tightness in one of his hamstrings there. You see him sort of stretching out that right hamstring. But he stays in the lineup. He's ready to go now at the right shoulder of the quarterback, Dante Ware.
By the way, that Texas Ranger game tonight started off with a 6-run inning for the Rangers in the first to take a quick lead in that one. They held on to win 8-3. There's another handoff for the Jags behind the right guard. It was Williams again. Good, healthy gain on first down. It'll be second down and 4 after a gain of 6, and now they'll bring Williams out and bring Redarius Wilson in.
All right, let's just stay with this recipe right now. Stay with a good, solid running game. Stay away from the penalties. And we can move the football against this Arlington-Lamar defense.
3 receivers to the right, including an H-back over there. Wilson, the running back, to the right of Dante Ware. Play fake. He wants to throw. Slings it out right, caught. And a nice fight for the first down by C.J. Jones. Good second effort to get past the stick and move the chains for Horn. Marco Harris held on to him for the tackle.
Wow, what an effort there, Ryan. I thought he was going to be well shy of that first down stake. But the second effort got him to the stakes, got a first down.
How about that sidearm throw, a la like a Patrick Mahomes almost, with the arm angle from Dante Ware, able to get it out there quickly to Jones. And Jones was stopped at the line of scrimmage, but had the strength to battle for the first down to the 39-yard line of Lamar. 21-17 Vikings with 9:30 to play here in the third. Ware the snap, hands off Wilson behind the right guard, and he'll just follow the lead blocks to about the 37-yard line for a gain of a couple.
They had the same formation, this time to the left. 3 wide receivers and an H-back, or a wing-back if you want to call him that, just off the tackle. And so nothing on the far side of the field other than to the right of the center, but a guard and a tackle. And but they ran it to the quick side of the formation, picked up, not much on that play, maybe a 2-yard gain, second down and 8. Youngster from Arlington Lamar, a little slow to get to his feet. Now he's walking to the sidelines.
You know, Steve, you love to talk about obscure mascots all over the state. The Winters Blizzards, the Frost Polar Bears, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I've never heard you talk about the Foxes. The Caddo
Mill Foxes. Yeah, that is a different one. The Caddo Mill Foxes, yeah. We haven't talked about that before, you're right.
They're behind Sunnyvale tonight, 28-7. The Raiders with the lead there over in Sunnyvale tonight. 2nd and 8. Horn at the Lamar 37. Ware in the gun, slot on the left, snap back, play fake. Ware rolls to his left, pointing downfield, now rolls back to his right. Penalty marker down. That's going to be a holding. Ware is slung to the turf for a loss, back behind the original line of scrimmage. But I don't think any of that's going to count. I think it's going to be a holding against Horn.
Many times when you see a quarterback start rolling to the left like that time, or right, but one side or the other, and then reverse his field, that's where you see a lot of holding, because the defensive player is trying to change directions as well. abruptly. And oftentimes an offensive lineman will say, no, I don't want you to go over there. And reach out and there'll be a hold.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there against the Horn offensive line. So the holding penalty will move it back to the 47-yard line. They'll replay second down. It'll be second down at 18. Ware will set up with 3 receivers bunched up to the left, nothing out to the right side of the formation. Second down and long, under 9 minutes to go, 21-17. Lamar with the lead. Ware has all day. Now pocket collapses, and he goes down for a big loss all the way back at the Horn 37-yard line.
Yeah,
a loss of 16 on that play.
You know, that's one of those things there. Ware is a big play type guy, and he scrambles that time. He wanted to keep the play alive. He didn't want to give up on the play. But, you know, throwing the ball away there would have been the wise choice to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. But he kept sort of giving ground, trying to wait for something to happen. And what happened is he was sacked on the play. And now it's what, Ryan, third down and...
Well, an Uber.
Yeah,
it's 34 to go.
34 yards.
Braylon Williams on the sack. 5-step drop. Ware now wants to run it. He's taken down for a loss of some more yards. Back at the 32-yard line. Must have been good coverage down the field. Braylon Williams got in for his second consecutive sack on the drive.
Well, we talked about this earlier in the game, back in the first half. But about halfway through the first half, the Horn Jags were averaging about, and I'm not exaggerating about this, early on they were averaging about 8, 9, maybe 10 yards of running play. Every passing play they were averaging minus yardage. And I'm not sure what to say about that other than that's the reality of the situation.
There's the punt by Furch. Lamar's going to let it roll, and they just cost themselves about 15 more yards of field position. Getting down there to kill it was Macarius Johnson on special teams at the 17-yard line. So about a 48-yard punt without a return, and so that's the good news for Horn. They back up Lamar just a little bit in their own end. But you're right, Steve. I mean, that drive completely broke down after the Jags decided to abandon the run.
Yeah, that's true. And first thing that broke down was the holding call, and then the lost yardage on 2 separate plays. But anyway, I think they had, 50 yards passing, did you say, at halftime, or 30 yards? It was
32 yards
32
passing.
yards passing, and they had probably 200 yards rushing.
Bring a man in motion on first down. Fake handoff, run the option to the right, and spun down at the line of scrimmage. Nice play made by Malachi Youngblood, who has been all over the field tonight. Came up from his safety spot there to make the play. Gain of 1 for Shaw and the quarterback keeper. 7 minutes to go here in the third. Lamar with a 21-17 lead.
Jaden Shaw, the fine quarterback at Lamar, hasn't made many mistakes tonight, but he made one there. That was a missed read. He tried to keep the ball himself on the option play and cut it up inside. His pitchback was wide open. If he had pitched it to him, they would have gained at least 10 yards.
Play fake, Shaw back to throw. Pocket collapses, he's hit. He gets rid of it, fires it up for grabs, and it's dropped. Oh, it should have been caught for a first down. Tyrone Taylor couldn't put the squeeze on it. What a wild play that was. I thought that was maybe one of the more ill-advised throws I've ever seen until I saw Taylor wide open, and then he dropped the football. Third down and 9 to go. One of the more dramatic incompletions you'll ever see.
Yeah, that's another quarterback there trying to make something happen when nothing was there, but he nearly got away with it that time because he ended up throwing a good pass out of the grasp of a defender, but it was dropped.
Third down and 9 to go. Shaw in the gun with a snap back. Horn brings 4. They go deep down the right sideline, incomplete, and nearly intercepted by Javaris Williams, who had great tight coverage on the receiver. for Lamar, Jakari Martin. It'll be 4th and 9, and Lamar will punt the football away.
Yeah, Williams with great coverage there, no doubt about it. He's disappointed he didn't come up with that interception, and rightfully so, but very nice coverage by him on that play.
Sunnyvale, by the way, now leads Caddo Mills 35-7. We'll get an update on Poteet here in just a moment. They were up 27-14 at the half on Woodrow Wilson, looking for their first win of the Terrence Orr era. High snap taken down by Lamar, and the punt is a good one. Spiraling kick. Here's a chance to return up the middle for Youngblood, and he will take it into Lamar territory to the 44-yard line. Good starting field position for the Jags. Down 21-17 about midway through this third quarter, and the tackle made by Zion Johnson for Lamar.
Well, let's see what we can do here. We have great field position, 6 minutes and 3 seconds to play in this third quarter. By the way, a reminder to you, the next giveaway in this broadcast will be after the first score in the second half by either squad. If you're the first caller into the broadcast booth after the first score, you'll win a $25 gift card to the sale place. So stay tuned for that. 972-882-7749 is the number.
First down handoff. Cameron Williams going to be tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Nice play made there on the defensive line. It was Christian Gonzalez again in on the stop.
I think Cameron Williams, and we mentioned he had trouble with that a pulled muscle situation it looked like he was struggling with. He's still down on the field. I'm not sure he'll be able to continue to play tonight. But, well, this one seems like maybe a cramp they're dealing with, so maybe he will be back from that. But a timeout's called due to this injury now.
Poteet, by the way, leading Woodrow Wilson. They're in the third quarter now, 33-21. 12-point lead for Poteet. On homecoming night over there, looking for Terrence Orr's first win as the head coach at Poteet High School. So a timeout for the injury. 5:32 remaining here in this third quarter. We still have the same score as we did at halftime. 21-17, Lamar over Horn in what has been a good back and forth game to this point. Dante Ware in the shotgun, slot on the right, play action fake, slant pass, behind Birch, incomplete. Threw it where he was, not where he was going. It'll be 3rd down and 11 coming up.
Yeah, he was wide open as well. That should have been an easy throw and catch there for a first down, but incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 11.
And you wonder here if the spot on the field will dictate the play call here on 3rd down. With it being 3rd and 11 at the Lamar 45, if you could pick up half of this, you might think about going for it on 4th down. They're going to level the formation out. 2 receivers right, 2 to the left. Wide splits in the offensive line. Snap back to Ware. 5-step drop. Fires it out left over the head of Kai Furch, incomplete. He was open again on the sideline on the out pattern. It's going to be 4th down and 11. And the Jags with that will punt the football.
Well, a wasted opportunity there that we let slip through our fingers. We took over that football in great field position, but we will punt the ball away here. It's 4th down and 11 from the Lamar 45-yard line.
And Lamar will send Marco Harris back to return. The ball won't get anywhere near him. The Jags angle it towards the sideline. This is not a very good punt. They were at the 45-yard line, and they're going to mark it at the 28, so that's just a 17-yard punt without a return. Not a good set of facts right there for Horn, but still only down 4, still plenty of time left. 5:05 to play here in the third quarter. The Vikings have the football back. That second quarter was full of fireworks, by the way. We had 31 points scored combined in that second quarter, but haven't had much outside of that. Just 7 in the first quarter and nothing halfway through this third quarter. 5-man front for Horn. Shaw in the gun on first down, left to right in the white jerseys at the 27-yard line. Handoff up the middle for Tyrone Taylor, and Taylor will carry it up to the 35-yard line for a gain of 7. I'm surprised that they haven't used him more in the lineup tonight. He is averaging 83 rushing yards a game, over 5 yards a carry, scored 3 times on the ground. They do go back to him here on 2nd and short, and he'll pick up the first down to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. He came in with 166 yards on 32 carries for an average of 5.2 yards a carry. 3 touchdowns. He hasn't seen a whole lot of action tonight. Uh-oh, we have too many men on the field.
Yep, penalty flag down. Fortunately, we use that advantage wisely and make the tackle quickly, but that play will not count. It'll be a penalty against Horn. Too many men on the field.
We tried to run a couple of players on the field very late. Then we saw we didn't have time to do that. They tried to get off the field, and they did not. Now, there's a discussion here on the near sidelines. I'm not sure what this could be about.
By the way, if you're a fan of Horn but maybe don't follow the program all that closely and are just sort of a casual fan, you may be wondering, hey, where's that Markel Ford kid? He sure was good. He played in the defensive secondary for Horn and made all kinds of plays back there. He was a Texas A&M commit. He recently decommitted and committed to play for Rhett Lashley and SMU back in April. He also transferred high schools. He's no longer at Horn High School. He's at Lancaster. So Horn will actually play against Markel Ford next week. Their former safety.
No penalty, by the way. They waived the penalty off.
Oh, good. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Now the Lamar coaches want to know why is that exactly? So they come out on the field.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. You know this very well, Steve. It's tough to be in leadership. You're going to make somebody unhappy.
Yeah.
You just got to pick who that is. And
okay, I'm not sure. Okay, the coach is out nearly to the numbers, and he wants to talk to the referee, but he's not going to call a timeout. I don't think you can just delay the game this way just because he wants to talk to you, unless you want to unless he wants to use a timeout here. Now there is a full timeout on the field, an official's timeout, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, that is very odd. Did not force Lamar to take a team timeout there. I have no idea why the play clock wasn't going.
But well, it was unusual that they decided to pick up the flag because we definitely had 12 or 13 guys on the field. Now, the Horn coach went out and talked to the line judge here, and it was because of that conversation that they decided to waive off the penalty. Now let's see what they decide to do here. They're going to throw a flag now or not?
Very hard to hear that muffled sound in the crowd mic about what the referee just said to the crowd. But just basing it off of body language and the fact that the ball's not moving, it looks like they did indeed. Well, now they've moved the down marker back to first down. Okay, well, we'll have to pick that up at some point and figure out what exactly transpired. But right now, based on the down box, it's first down. It may all end up not mattering as Shaw runs free into the second level. There is another penalty flag down. This has been a laundry show for most of the night. Shaw went out of bounds with a first down into Horn territory, but it might all be coming back. We'll have to wait and see what that was. It was way away from the play.
Yeah, it came from the back judge, some, 25 yards in the defensive backfield there where he sets up.
Yeah, it's against Lamar. They're backing it up. Man, we were off to such a great, fast start in this third quarter.
Yep.
We came to a screeching halt. There's a penalty against Lamar. So wipe off the big run from Jaden Shaw. Now, both of these quarterbacks tonight have been really fun to watch. Both are dual threat guys. Both have good arms and excellent running ability with good vision. And actually remind me of one another in a lot of ways, sort of have similar games.
Oh, my goodness.
Now another whistle and a timeout called by Lamar. 4:21 to play here in this third quarter. Still Lamar 21 and Horn 17. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
You're listening to Mesquite ISD Varsity Football on KEOM Radio. Brought to you tonight by Whataburger of Mesquite.
Do you have kids? Then you know the importance of properly installing their car seats and buckling them up correctly to protect them from injuries. Unfortunately, most parents think their children are safely buckled, but that's not always the case. Visit SaveMeWithASeat.org to easily sign up for a free car seat inspection near you. Keep your kids safe with properly installed car seats and by buckling them up correctly so you can save them with a seat.
Coming straight back in 3, 2, 1.
4:21 remaining here in the third quarter of play. Alongside Steve Glenn, I'm Ryan Castle. Patrick Ross back at master control. Gil Palmer, our spotter. Ty Smith and Nora Fascio, our student interns tonight. Glad to have you along with us here on KEOM Radio. First down and 9. Not quite sure how, but the handoff over the left side for a gain of about 3 to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and both coaching staffs seem to be pleased with that situation, so I guess it was accurate. We don't know how it was. Anyway, it was a nice gain on that play. It sets up a second down and about 4, I guess.
And some bad news from Forney. North Forney has taken a 28-14 lead over the Skeeters. They're in the second half of that one. There's a nice play made defensively by the Jags. Really nicely done by Calvin Blaine to sling the ball carrier to the ground. That was Caden Hall that got the carry. Going to set up third down and about 3 after a gain of only a yard.
Skeeters looked really good last week in their win against the North Mesquite Stallions. In the 56th meeting between those two high schools in Texas high school football. But tonight running up against a tough North Forney team. North Forney in the top 20 in the Metroplex. I don't remember, Ryan, exactly where, but they are in the top 20.
Third down and 3. Big play for the Horn defense. The ball on the ground. It's loose. Still loose. Being kicked around by both teams. And it will depend on who got to it at the bottom of that scrum. Looks like it was Lamar. So they'll retain possession. That's the good news for them. The bad news, that was third down and 3, and now it's going to be fourth down and about 15. Boy, they've had some real trouble holding on to the ball tonight. So time to punt for Lamar. Back to Horn with 2:30 and counting to go here in the third quarter. The Jags will get it back down 4. And let's see here. Is that Youngblood back to return? Yes, it is. There's the punt. It's a short punt. It's end over end, angled towards the sideline. It'll bounce out of bounds at about the 42-yard line, so only about a 24-yard punt for Lamar. And Horn again has good starting field position up near midfield with 2:12 remaining here in the third quarter. 21-17, Lamar with the lead.
Well, the Horn Jags would like to make it into the playoffs this year, of course, in 2025. If you're wondering when was the last time Horn made postseason play, that was back in 2022. They were 8-3 that year. They lost to Wiley in the bi-district ball game, 21-11. That was the last playoff appearance for the Jags in high school football.
Yeah, Ed Johnson and I called that game from Allen a couple of years ago for the Jags, and boy, the offense really struggled that night. Hoping to get back there and have a good offense in the playoffs. Here's a handoff. Williams, big play up the middle, a first down carry and more. And Cameron Williams, who was shaken up a bit earlier in this third quarter, with a good strong run there, looked to be 100% to me. Got 11 yards and a first down.
Boy, sure did. He looked very strong there. Not favoring either leg, didn't limp at all on the run or the walk back to the huddle, so he's looking good. A good job by the training staff of Horn High School to get him back in the ball game.
Jags once again in Lamar territory at the 47-yard line. It's 1st and 10, right to left. They bring Furch in motion. They fake the toss to him. They give to Williams up the middle. Nice play design. Lamar is privy to it, though, and stop Williams after a short gain, maybe a half of a yard. Woodrow Wilson a little closer now. Start of the fourth quarter at Memorial Stadium. It's the Pirates 33 and the Wildcats 28. So a good ball game over there as well. You can catch that one online-only broadcast, KEOM.FM, to get the link to that. Just go to the Sports Broadcast tab on our website. 1 minute to play here in the third quarter. Dante Ware in the gun. Slot on the right. Here's a QB run. QB power up the middle. Lead blocker. Turns outside 30. 25-20. Inside move at the 15. And down inside the 15 at about the 12-yard line. An electrifying run of 34 yards for Dante Ware before Ja'Cory Ellis got back to make the stop. I rolled everything, though. Penalty flag.
I don't see.
Good grief.
I don't see a flag, but they're backing up. I don't see a flag on the field, Ryan. But evidently there is one somewhere. I didn't. Holding.
Yeah, that's against Horn. Not a real surprise there with the way the players were walking. Although you're right, I'm with you. I didn't see the flag. I saw the scoreboard have the flag little video going. That wipes off a big run for Dante Ware, and it's another big play taken away from Horn because of either a penalty or a drop pass.
It was from the point of the foul, so it will set up now a 2nd down and 4.
Horn is at the Lamar 40-yard line. We're under a minute to go here in the third quarter. 51 seconds remaining. Horn will have a slot on the right. That's Jaden Boyd. Low snap. Ware picks it up, just runs it ahead. Around the right side, penalty marker down again. And Ware is forced out of bounds. He'll have a first down, but it'll depend on what this penalty marker is about.
I think it's too many men on the field for Arlington Lamar. They tried to run on a big defensive lineman onto the field. The youngster from Arlington Lamar jogging onto the field. He was at least 260 pounds. It's hard for him to hide out there, Ryan. And he was just out there nearly to the hash marks, and he saw he wasn't going to make it, and he turned around and looked at the coaching staff, and they said, go ahead, just keep going. So he did, but it looked like to me he was the 12th man on the field, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. They're talking about it. Now the Arlington Lamar coach is out on the numbers again, right in the middle of the referee discussion. He's been a big part of the referees' conversations tonight lately, it seems to me at least. But
I really don't mean this as a negative comment against these officials. I promise you I don't. I'm really just trying to explain to you what we're witnessing here tonight. But it's a very malleable crew. They've been swayed a couple of times by conversations from coaches. Now, and you don't see that a lot.
Oh, no, you don't hardly ever see it. Now here comes the Arlington Lamar coaching staff again, back out on the field. They cannot, you're not supposed to be able to, that's not usually allowed by any officiating crew. These guys are very patient officials, I guess, with the coaching staffs, which, I suppose that's fine. Are they going to penalize them or not?
No, they picked up the flag.
Oh, my gosh. So now here come the Horn coaches out on the numbers asking why, what's the deal with that? And the linesman doesn't seem to know why. He's not even talking to our coach over here, probably because, Ryan, he doesn't know why that's not a penalty. That's what I'm guessing, at least.
Well, the Jags coaches backpedal to the sideline, and look at that. Cameron Williams says forget it. 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Yeah.
That'll do it. 40 yards. Cameron Williams puts the Jags back in front. And guess what? No penalty flags.
No flags on the field this time. The Jags have scored. Horn has taken the lead. With 29 seconds to play in the third quarter, it's 23-21. The try for extra point yet to come. Well, give us a call right now into the broadcast booth and win that $25 gift card from the sale place. We always enjoy hearing from the good football fans from all around the area. Now, this one reminder to you, you cannot have won a gift from KEOM Radio in the last 60 days. Who'd be eligible to win tonight?
Here's the point after try by Gonzalez. It's up and through, and 29 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Horn back in front. Our new score at Hanby Stadium is the Horn Jags 24 and the Lamar Vikings 21.
This quarter of our broadcast is sponsored by Mesquite Eye Associates with Dr. Susan Park. Mesquite Eye Associates, 1128 North quick. Galloway Avenue in Mesquite. 972-288-4427. MesquiteEye.com.
Yeah.
Medicare can help lower healthcare costs for people with disabilities and those 65 and older. Open enrollment for Medicare begins October 15th. Call 800-252-9240. The Medicare helpline is available to answer enrollment questions. Call 800-252-9240 for more information. This message is sponsored by the Texas Health and Human Services Commission.
3, 2, 1.
Great ball game tonight here at Hanby Stadium. We've had 3 or 4 lead changes now at this point. Under a half a minute to play here in the third quarter. And kicking it off for the Jags, Norjane Gonzalez, the junior place kicker. He's had several touchbacks already on the night. This one will be returnable from the 4-yard line out to the 10, 15, and there's the Horn Jag coverage team on the scene quickly at the 14-yard line. Good coverage down the field by Horn on the kickoff. First down, Arlington Lamar, and now they trail 24-21 after the 40-yard touchdown run by Cameron Williams right up the gut. This has been a good ball game, back and forth all night long. And it looks like Poteet has scored again. They have gone up now by 11, 39-28 over Woodrow Wilson. So the Pirates trying to win a district. No, that's a non-district ball game over there against Woodrow. Poteet starts district play next week. First down snap for Lamar. Jaden Shaw out of the shotgun, hands the ball off straight up the middle to Trayvon Taylor. And a gain of about 3 out to the 21-yard line. It'll be second down and 7. That should be the final play of the third quarter here at Hanby Stadium. So we will go to the fourth. The only scoring in the third, the 40-yard touchdown run by Cameron Williams to put Horn in front as we go to the fourth, 24-21. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
Portions of this Varsity Sports broadcast.
Well, that quarter was 34 minutes long.
201.
That's more reasonable.
Yeah,
but a lot of times it's 28 to 30 minutes, but 34 is not bad.
Hey, Joe.
Well, yeah, because the first two were, I think it was 8:26.
Yeah.
So that's
okay. I don't understand. I mean, I like the idea that the officiating crew is not flag happy against the coaches and all of that. I think that's good. But you can't let them just come out here and stall and delay the game.
It's ridiculous.
I got $1,200 a year in benefits.
Maybe this poor line judge over here is like, I don't know. I thought it was a flag too.
Sorry, we're back.
Well, welcome back to Hanby Stadium. We'll start the fourth quarter with the Jags leading 24-21. Horn officially 0-1 on the year, although they did lead Berkner 10-0 midway through the third quarter last week. That officially went down as an unofficial ball game.
Except for KEOM sports coverage, and we called it a win.
That's true. That's very true. And Berkner, I'm sure, called it a no contest.
That's right.
Their broadcast crew. So here we go, start of the fourth quarter. Lamar with the football, going right to left now towards the north end zone in the gray jerseys, purple pants, yellow helmets, a la LSU. And they've got 3 to the right on the short side of the field on 2nd down and 5 to start this fourth quarter of play. And their band is over there playing as they've got the ball.
Shakari Martin is near side receiver, big, tall, slender, fast guy. We have him covered one-on-one.
They motion Taylor out of the backfield, pressured up the middle, and Shaw will go down. Sacked back at the 10-yard line.
And his helmet came off. You know, that's at least the 4th time in this ball game tonight that an Arlington Lamar player's helmet came off during the play. They need to tighten up those chin straps a little bit.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a dangerous play with Shaw's helmet coming off. He was continuing to try to fight his way out of the sack. But the Jags brought 6. They got home with the pressure, and now it's 3rd down and 14. And I'd love it if they dial up another blitz here. 3rd down, 14 to go. They need to get all the way out to the 26-yard line for a first. They scrimmage from the 12.
Jaden Shaw had to check out of the ball game as quarterback since he lost his helmet.
And they're going to hand off to Taylor behind the right guard. He'll get across the original line of scrimmage and be dropped short of the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and long, and Lamar's going to have to punt the football here back to Horn High School. A good job by the Horn defense to come up with a stop, and Horn will get the ball back with a chance to add to their lead.
Well, North Forney has scored again, Ryan. North Forney now 35, Mesquite High School 14.
And that's 28 unanswered points now scored by North Forney in that ball game, and I know that makes Ty and Nora a little upset. They're both students at Mesquite High School. Our student interns tonight here on KEOM. Youngblood's going to let this punt bounce, and that was the wrong call because it takes about a 15-yard hop inside the 30 and will be downed by Lamar at the 27-yard line. So that right there is about a 52-yard punt without a return. It'll be Horn football with a tick over 11 minutes to play here in the ball game, and Horn leading 24-21. Well, Arlington Lamar is 0-2 on the year. We talked about that in the pregame comments. Their losses are close losses, both of them. One to Plano West by 1 point, the other to Saxe by 3 points. So you might say Lamar is one of the better 0-2 teams in the state right now. And they're giving Horn all they can handle at Hanby Stadium tonight. This has been a great game for a non-district affair, back and forth all night long, and now the Jags have an opportunity to get their largest lead of the game if they can score a touchdown on this drive. 1st down, left to right at their own 27. Man comes in motion right to left. They hand the ball off on the left side to Williams. He bounces it outside, still outside the numbers, and across the 40, lost the ball. Or did he? No, I guess he was able to cover it to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. Good start to the drive. Gain of 15 and a 1st down.
Okay, good start for this drive. The Horn Jags lead it 24-21. 10 minutes, 49 seconds to play in the ball game.
And the Jags in not much of a hurry here. Play clock down to 15. Now they bring the man in motion to the right side. And the handoff to Williams over the right side. He'll cross the 45 and get to the 46-yard line for a gain of 5 on 1st down. Now right here, Steve, this is what the Jags have been doing a majority of the night, starting these drives with good running plays. Then they start trying to pass it and things go awry. Let's see if they continue with the ground attack here. We'll have an injury timeout. big number 50 for Arlington Lamar shaken up on the play. That's Demetrius Washington. So a timeout with 10:17 remaining here in this fourth quarter. We mentioned this earlier, but the Rangers won tonight 8-3.
Who was our starting pitcher tonight, Ryan? Do you remember?
It was Jacob DeGrom against his former team.
He's had a nice season.
He really has. The 37-year-old hard-throwing right-hander. Boy, the Rangers, they have an all-star lineup that's on the injured list right now.
And a bunch of youngsters who nobody even knows who they are, nearly, that are turning in huge performances as playoff time nears.
Yeah, guys like Hellman and Freeman and Josh Smith. A few other guys that just really haven't been part of the mix. But getting some good production out of those guys, and hopefully some of these other folks are coming back soon. I know.
How long is it before Evaldi comes back, or is he out for the whole season?
I've heard he's out for the year.
Is he? Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he was on track to maybe win the Cy Young in the American League with the way that he was pitching this year. But the Rangers have gotten good contributions. They got a good trade deadline acquisition in Merrill Kelly from Arizona. DeGrom, of course, has been great. Patrick Corbin has been good. And we'll have to take a look at the standings, but the Rangers entered the night 2 games back in the wild card hunt. 2nd and 5, another handoff here. This is Cameron Williams again. He reverses field. Kamara, actually it is, and he lost the ball. It's recovered by Horn. That was an offensive lineman, Robert Terry, 6'2", 345 pounds, that recovered it for Horn.
And you know, when he covers the ball, he covers the ball.
Yeah, you don't find it.
No, you can't see it. It's gone. As he got on top of that one. Good hustle by him to go back and recover that fumble.
He's a senior at Horn High School, so last year as a junior, he played on the same offensive line as Lamont Rogers. That was one of the biggest offensive lines in the state of Texas. Lamont Rogers now at Texas A&M as a true freshman. We had a penalty flag, I think, thrown there. Is that right, Gil? And it's going to be against Horn, so that'll back him up to the 36-yard line. 10-yard penalty.
Our running game is not nearly as effective when all of a sudden you're behind the sticks due to a penalty.
Slot right. Play fake, slant, and he threw it down at the feet of Abu Kamara. Incomplete, sets up 3rd down and 15.
Well, tonight Dante Ware has been fantastic running the football, but throwing the ball he's been pretty inaccurate tonight. Now last week, or the first week against Mansfield, he did complete, 55% of his passes, but tonight, oh goodness, I would say, maybe 15-20% at the best, I would think.
Yeah,
maybe not that.
The statistician that's here tonight has him 4 for 14. So that's 28%.
Well, that's a little better than I thought then.
3rd and 15. Again, slot right, Ware back to throw, across the middle, tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Lamar, and here's the return. Intercepted by Braylon Williams, who tipped it up into the air and then caught it himself. And a big takeaway for Lamar, the return inside the Horn 30.
9 minutes and 32 seconds to play in this ball game, so a big situation here. Lamar with the football. They trail Horn by 3 points. The Jag defense really called on now to stiffen up and prevent a score from the Vikings.
Still a lot of time left in this football game, but that was hopefully not a momentum-changing play just made by Braylon Williams. A great interception by the defensive lineman.
We just now are getting the football back in play. No, let's see. Okay, that was Horn's football. Anyway, we're ready to go. Arlington Lamar with the football, 1st down and 10.
They're at the Horn 25-yard line, going right to left in the gray jerseys and purple pants. Shaw in the pistol, brings Pruitt in motion to the backfield. They fake the handoff, run the option to the right, and Shaw is twisted down in the backfield. Play made there by Horns Keandre Sheffield. First time we've called his name tonight, and it came at an opportune time. A loss of 5 on that run by Shaw.
Big play right there. So now it's second down. Second down and 15 for Lamar.
Huge play after Lamar had just gotten the takeaway. They huddle up. They come to the line of scrimmage. Second down and officially 16, back at the 31-yard line.
Keep an eye on Pruitt, number 1.
He's down at the bottom of your screen if you're watching on our video broadcast. To the left of the formation on 2nd and 16. Shaw back to throw, has time, now rolls to his left, takes off to run, and is hit just past the line of scrimmage, crossed the 30, got to the 27-yard line. Going to set up third down and 11. Sheffield made the stop again.
Good patient defense there by the Jags. They sort of hemmed him in, I guess you could say there, between 2 or 3 players. Kept him corralled a little bit. Didn't let him scramble away. They made the play, and now it's third down and 13.
8-12 and counting to play in the game. 24-21 Horn. And a big play here on third down and 13. An empty gun for Jaden Shaw. Now he'll bring Taylor into the backfield to his right shoulder. 2 receivers right, 2 to the left. Shaw back to throw. Horn brings 4. Quick throw left side's caught. Inbounds. Pruitt stayed in bounds and walks the dog the rest of the way for the touchdown. And Lamar is back in front with 7:46 to play.
Well, there he is. We just talked about him. Keep an eye on Lamar. Lamar Pruitt. He's just a big play guy. That's all you can say.
What a great job to stay in bounds there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we had our cornerback out there one-on-one with him. He's tough to handle one-on-one, and he just made the play. Now, okay, one thing to say here. Is there anything more aggravating at a high school football game than that air horn that some teams use? You can't hear anything for 10 seconds. I mean, I know they're excited about that touchdown, but that is a loud horn over there.
Yeah, something tells me you might not be as annoyed had that been Horn that just scored that touchdown. I think you'd have been just fine with the train whistle.
That is true.
28-24 now. Arlington Lamar with the lead back. We've had 5 lead changes in this game. And I think that was a 20-yard touchdown pass from Shaw to Pruitt. It's the second touchdown for Pruitt in the game. He also scored on an 87-yard pass, a one-handed catch to start the scoring here tonight at Hanby Stadium. Now he has the latest score in the game to give Lamar a 4-point lead.
It is a good point you made about the horn. It is a trained horn. Now, if you've ever been out in the countryside in Texas, you can hear a train's horn probably 20 miles. Now, from 20 miles away, you can hear it clearly. Now, here in the stadium itself, when the horn is maybe 100 feet away, it is really very clearly of note.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
There are some communities that have tried to outlaw that and have told the opposing teams when they come to their facility, you can't use that. Now, I don't know if they've been successful in that effort or not.
Here's the return by Horn on the kickoff. And it's a good return. It's Malachi Youngblood across the 40. Good return by the Jags, and he nearly caught that.
Yeah, he did. That was a nice effort by him. Good field position here.
Yep. Jags with 7:39 left. Both teams with a full arsenal of timeouts. And a 28-24 Lamar lead. If you're just joining us, it was 7-0 Lamar at the 7:40 mark of the first quarter. An 87-yard touchdown pass from Jaden Shaw to Camille Pruitt. That was our only scoring of the first quarter. We then had 31 points scored in the second quarter. We ended that with a 21-17 Lamar lead at the half. Horn would score the only touchdown of the third quarter, a 40-yard run by Cameron Williams. And in the fourth quarter so far, Lamar has scored the only points, a 20-yard pass from Shaw once again to Camille Pruitt. On first down, Dante Ware runs it to the right side and gains a couple before he's knocked out of bounds rudely at about the 41-yard line. Escorted out of bounds with some authority by Marquavian Gully. Gain of 4, second down and 6 coming up. I'll tell you one thing that they're doing is they're stopping the clock on those out-of-bounds situations. They're not really, well, at least as far as I'm concerned, or no, they're not supposed to be doing that until under 4 minutes. But anyways, here's the handoff once again. Williams, nice cut back inside. He'll cross the 50. Let's see if they give him forward progress. They will. He's going to be at the 49-yard line of Lamar, 1 yard short of a first down. It'll be third down and 1 coming up. We'll be under 7 minutes by the time the football is snapped again. Oh, and they gave Horn the first down there, so they gave him the 48-yard line. It's a fresh set of downs now for Dante Ware. He'll turn and he'll hand off to Cameron Williams, bounces it outside, crosses the 45-yard line, down to about the 41. Good, strong running. It's been a great second half for Cameron Williams. Gully made another tackle, but not before a gain of 7.
Very good, quick decision by the running back there. He knew he was running out of room, so he just planted that right foot, cut it upfield, got as much as he could get, as quick as he could get it, and it was a nice effort. He ended up with 7 yards.
And you mentioned this earlier, but Williams was hobbled around a little bit in the third quarter. They did a great job getting him back. And now a pass out into the left slot. Man wide open. Abu Kamara would have a first down, but he dropped it. And, Dante Ware, you mentioned the inaccuracy from him tonight, but he's also been hurt quite a bit by drops from his wide receivers.
Well, that's true. That is true. That one certainly was on the mark and
should have been caught. He's 4 out of 16 passing now, but of those 12 incompletions, I'd say 4 of them have been drops, at least. Slot on the left, third down and 3. Big play here. The Jags really need a first down. 6:12 to go in the ball game. Horn down 4. Snap back to Ware. They bring a blitz. They throw it out to the right side, and the pass dropped again by Rodarius Wilson, who would have had a first down.
Well, it's been a nightmare night for the passing game of Horn. It was second down and 3. We throw 2 passes, 2 drops. Now it's fourth down and 3. Now we have 1 down to get 3 yards. But prior to that pass, we could have run it twice for 3. Now a little bit of pressure on us to get this first down on fourth down and 3.
That was a great job by Dante Ware to recognize the blitz and get it out quickly.
And it was open, and it was dropped.
Snap back. Ware's going to keep it himself. He's right at the marker and should have enough for a first down. Good extra second effort there by Dante Ware. Was not going to be denied on 4th and 3, and the Horn Jags move the chains. We've got an injury here to stop the clock. It's once again a Lamar Viking down at the 40-yard line, so they'll stop the clock with 6:04 remaining. And I wonder if we have an update on the Poteet score. That's been a good ball game all night long.
The last I had was 39-28. And now it is 46-28. Poteet with the lead.
Very good. Boy, offensive outburst tonight for Poteet. They scored just 7 their last time out against West Mesquite, so a really nice effort tonight by the Poteet offense. I wonder if they've had the sophomore kid or if it's been Kevin Joyner tonight. Check on that. And the box score maybe a little bit later to see. Here's the first down snap for Horn. Play action fake. Ware's going to go deep down the right side. Had a step on the defender. Is that in bounds? Yes, it is. A catch for Horn High School. Santana Carrizosa for a first down to the Lamar 13-yard line. A beautifully thrown ball that time by Dante Ware.
Well, we've had some drops from the receivers, but that was a tremendous catch. A tremendous effort for that catch. A diving, extended fully to go get that ball, and it's a completed pass.
At some point, I'd love to tell you about the night Isaiah Hall is having for Poteet, the sophomore quarterback for the Pirates. First down, Horn at the 13. Handoff, Cameron Williams met at the line of scrimmage, has his helmet ripped off of him, and stopped with forward progress to the 13-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10. Take a look at who made the tackle. It was Braylon Williams, who had an interception earlier in the game.
Well, the ball carrier's helmet ended up being lost somewhere up around the original line of scrimmage. He was finally thrown to the turf back at the 23, some 8 yards away or so. But as we pick up play, it'll be 2nd down and 10. Horn's ball, scrimmaging from the Lamar 13-yard line.
28-24 Lamar with 5:45 to play in the game. And that means Cameron Williams has to come to the sideline here. Redarius Wilson will check in for him as the running back on the right shoulder of Dante Ware in the gun. 2nd and 10 at the Lamar 13. Ware back to throw, penalty flag. Kills the play.
Procedure.
It'll be a false start against Horn.
Boy, a terrible time for a penalty for the Jags, that's for sure.
This has been the story tonight. Has been the penalties that have put them behind schedule, and they just haven't been able to do what they wanted to do.
Maybe my D.
Before the next snap of the football, let's pause for station identification. You're listening to high school football here on KEOM Radio.
Your Mesquite Varsity Sports Authority. 88.5
Back in 3,
KEOM Mesquite.
Ware in the shotgun, 2nd and 14. Ball on the right hash, looks across at a 4-man front. Back to throw, looks right, has a man open. It's Carrizosa. You won't believe it, he dropped the ball. It's an epidemic.
Well,
3rd and 14 coming up. And I mean, that ball was right in between the numbers.
It was. Now, it had some zip on it. He turned one loose. It was a fastball there. But, hey, you have, obviously, a varsity receiver, you expect that ball to be caught.
So 3rd and 14. But the Jags have really cost themselves some opportunities tonight. Some plays left unmade. Ware back to throw with some time. Now wants to run. Looks for an opening. Gets hammered at the 17-yard line.
Well, he got blasted right there, Ryan.
A swift end to that play made by Adrian Davis, one of the linebackers.
Dante gets up. He's okay walking back to the huddle here.
One of the Lamar Vikings, Jamarcus Thomas, looked to be shaken up, hit the turf, and is now walking off under his own power. So 5:09 to go. Field goal does you no good here, but it's 4th down and 13, so you're sort of in a pickle if you're the Jags.
It was 1st down and 10 from the 13.
And I do wonder if maybe you think about a field goal here. You've still got 3 timeouts. It makes it a 1-point game, but I think the 4th and 13 is what gives me some pause. We'll see what they do here. They go for it. Back to throw. Ware steps up into the pocket, fires into the end zone. Incomplete. Had 2 receivers running in that area. Neither one of them was open. The pass was about 3 feet out of bounds. And it's a turnover on downs. With 5:03 remaining, the Jags come up empty again in the red zone.
Well, just the way things have gone tonight, you knew as soon as Horn got that penalty and it set him up at 2nd down and 15, and you knew at that point that they might have to go to the passing game, you just didn't feel good about it because the running game has been so good tonight, so positive. But just for whatever reason, drop passes and different things, the passing game just has not, well, like you said a few minutes ago, it's really nearly been a nightmare situation, really.
Lamar football with a 4-point lead and over 5 minutes to go. Handoff on first down, Trayvon Taylor, and he'll be taken down just across the line of scrimmage. Really nice play made by Javaris Williams.
Well, he didn't do a nice job. He latched onto that right leg of the running back, would not let go, finally dragged him to the turf. Good effort there by the defensive player from Horn. So it's 2nd down and 9.
4:40 and counting left here in this fourth quarter. Arlington Lamar in no hurry with a 28-24 lead. Well, the Jags could really use a takeaway here. They've gotten 3 tonight. A 4th one would be the ticket. 2nd down and 9.
Watch the option play here. Quarterback possibly keeping it.
Snap back. Shaw's going to throw. Quick to the left side. That's a catch and a first down. Depending on the spot, looked like he had enough. The ball caught by Jakari Martin. And they're going to spot it at the 28-yard line for a first down for Lamar before Kai Furch made the tackle.
Martin sometimes gets some carries rushing the football. A lot of times, though, I think that is on the jet sweep from his wide receiver spot. But he's not carried the ball from scrimmage, but he has been a fine receiver tonight for the Lamar Vikings.
Jaden Shaw, by the way, tonight, 9 of 15 passing, 60%, 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. First down at the 28. Handoff Taylor, looks for a hole, won't find much. He'll get to the 30 for a gain of 2, and that'll be it. Tackle made on that play by Keandre Sheffield and Calvin Blaine. 2nd down and 8 coming up. 3.5 minutes remaining in this ball game. It's a 28-24 Lamar lead, and they have the football. Horn's got 3 timeouts. You'd really like to stop them from getting another first down if you can, and maybe start calling some of those timeouts to preserve the clock. 2nd down and 8, ball at the left hash, 4-man front for Horn, 3 linebackers, and a snap back to Shaw. Plants his foot, goes deep, has Pruitt, and caught at the 30. Durham gave up on it. He just watches Pruitt go to the end zone for the touchdown. That'll just about put the game on ice, I would think, with 2:49 left. Another big strike to Camille Pruitt, and that's another beautifully thrown pass.
Yeah, Pruitt, a big-time receiver, no doubt about it. He'll be playing on Saturdays. Quickly, I would think, at the college level. Really a fine talent. We tried to cover him one-on-one again that time. No contest, really, to tell you the truth.
That is his 2nd touchdown reception of the quarter. His 3rd of the game. Shaw now responsible for 5 touchdowns, 4 passing and 1 rushing. And the extra point is up and good. 2:49 remaining here in the ball game, and it's now Arlington Lamar 35. Horn 24. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
Portions of this Varsity Sports broadcast are sponsored by The Sale Place, the Football Mom Superstore, 3641 Shepherd Lane in
I don't really know how a linebacker
557-7747. TheSalePlace.com.
Camille Pruitt, but that's not who I want covering
pharmacy,
that guy.
Explore BSafe RX to find useful information and resources to help you purchase medicines safely online. A safe online pharmacy requires a doctor's prescription, has an address in the United States, has a licensed pharmacist.
He's just better than we are out there.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about
it's
it.
best to stay away from online pharmacies that don't meet these criteria. Discover more helpful tips and resources at BSafe
Bumper in 3, 2,
1.
Well, that connection, Jaden Shaw to Camille Pruitt, has been a fruitful one tonight for Arlington Lamar. 3 touchdown passes from Shaw to Pruitt, and Shaw has been responsible for all 5 Arlington Lamar touchdowns. 4 passing, 1 rushing, 2:49 left, and Horn in need of quick scores now. Still 3 timeouts, so there's still a lot of time left, but the Jags have to strike quickly. A good return here would help. Here it comes from Abu Kamara, up the middle 30, bounces outside 35-40, at the 50, 45-40, penalty flag. Kamara's going to go to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Kamara touchdown, but it may not matter. And if this is against Horn, it is a microcosm of the entire football game.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. It's a shame. It's a great effort by the kickoff team, and the youngster who had the ball in his hands. It won't count. It won't show up in the stats. Really a great play, but it's going to come back due to a holding call.
I count that now as 3 touchdowns that the Jags have left on the board. 2 drop passes. Now this one called back due to a penalty. That was a great return by Kamara. It's really tough for me to tell in real time.
Oh, wait a minute.
We have offsetting penalties. Lamar was offsides. I'm not sure what the Jags crowd is upset about. If anything, that's a pretty good result, I think.
Horn crowd down below the broadcast booth not happy about that touchdown return not counting, but it was a hold against Horn, offsides against Lamar on the kicking team, so they'll kick it over.
I just say run that same play and subtract the hold. 35-24, 2:34 left in the ball game. And so we'll kick it over here. Abu Kamara back deep, along with Kevin Edwards, a sophomore receiver. By the way, real quick, Isaiah Hall, sophomore quarterback, Poteet High School, 15 of 19 tonight, 239 and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Great effort by him in what looks like will be a winning effort for Poteet.
His first start on the varsity level. Certainly a good outcome.
Yep, and he's been the only Pirate to throw a pass tonight, at least to this point. Dylan Davis, 15 carries for 139 and 2 touchdowns. So the Pirates with a coming out party offensively against Woodrow Wilson. And that kick bounded off of the Horn Jag. It was loose for a little bit too long, but I think the Jags might have covered it. We're going to have to wait and see. It's going to depend on what happened at the end of that pile. Oh, my goodness. Lamar got it. Vikings ball.
Vikings come up with it, 2:34 to go in the ball game. Arlington Lamar will get the football. They did the same thing they did an hour or so ago. They kicked the low line drive kickoff right at one of our linemen, and it hit us. And then we scrambled around, tried to get it. We were not successful in that effort, and Arlington Lamar gets the football.
So they've got it back, an 11-point lead, 2:34 left, and the Jags are about to have to start calling timeouts quickly here and hope to get some stops. Jaden Shaw in the shotgun. Taylor's the running back. They're going to hand it to him right up the middle. Nice play made immediately by Keandre Sheffield. Stopped after a 1-yard gain. It'll be second down, and clock will wind. I guess the Jags will let it go to the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, you're right. They'll wait till a 2-minute timeout. Save what timeouts they have, which is, let's see, 3, isn't it? Yeah, they have 3 timeouts left.
So it'll be second down and 9 when we return after the 2-minute timeout. Arlington Lamar 35, Horn 24. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment.
What if the second deadliest cancer in men and women could be prevented? Would you try to avoid the
Oh boy, well, Patrick, if we made a end-of-the-year montage of clips, we could use a couple from this game tonight that didn't count.
Screening is important.
Yeah, awesome.
And most people have options.
Why don't you just do the highlights from the first half?
Yeah.
Instead of all of the.
From the
we only have one in the second.
Well, that's true. That's true. The others have been the other.
We're back.
Welcome back. 2 minutes to go here at Hanby Stadium. By the way, next week we'll be at Memorial Stadium Friday night. It'll be West Mesquite versus North Mesquite. Big matchup in district play for those two ball clubs. Both of them 1-0 after big wins last night, so that'll be a fun one next week at Memorial Stadium. Hope you'll join us for that. We'll also have volleyball on the air for you Tuesday night. So we're rocking and rolling now in the fall with our football and volleyball coverage for you right here on KEOM Radio. 2nd down and 9. Lamar at the Horn 41-yard line with an 11-point lead. And a handoff here, busting out of one tackle, two tackles, spinning off the third tackle, getting inside the 40 down to about the 36-yard line. That ball carried by Caden Hall. And he's going to be a little bit short of a first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 6.
Ryan, this is the final score now from Memorial Stadium. Poteet High School 53, Woodrow Wilson 28.
Okay, good. So a good win tonight for Poteet. The first win for Terrence Orr as the head coach there for the Pirates. And we mentioned this, but they had an offensive coming out party with Isaiah Hall at quarterback. 484 yards tonight for Poteet High School in their win. Dylan Davis had a big game on the ground, 15 for 139 and 2 touchdowns. Kyler Cornelius, the receiver for Poteet, I believe he's just a sophomore if I'm not mistaken. 7 catches for 125 and a touchdown.
You know, there's some discussion here that the Horn coaches aren't happy. They were under the impression with the situation that snap, the clock would start on the snap of the football. So they didn't call a timeout, and at least 10, 12 seconds ran off the clock when they finally saw, hey, the clock's running.
Yeah.
So then they quickly called a timeout. Now,
Coach Hughes is out at the hash marks to talk with one of the officials about that, and I think they have a good argument here. I thought the clock should have stopped as well.
I don't know. It seems like we've had more confusion over the play clock situation in these last 2 weeks, Ryan, than I can ever remember.
I mean, I'm sorry to admit this to the listeners. I know you're supposed to have trust in us as your broadcasters, but I'm losing a lot of faith in my knowledge of the rules in some instances here, because what you think should be happening is not happening. It's 3rd down and 5, 1:25 left. Horn did have to call a timeout there. And a fake handoff. Shaw will keep it, fighting for a first down, and he'll have it. Down around the 30-yard line. Should be enough for a first down for Arlington Lamar, and if that's the case, that'll be the ball game. Horn's only got 2 timeouts remaining, so they won't be able to stop it long enough to get it back. They're down by 11, and boy, this will be a game that the coaches go back and watch over the next day and a half, 2 days before the kids come back on Monday, and might make them a little nauseous.
Well, this is the second game, they think they should have won. Against Mansfield, they lost that ball game 33-31 to Mansfield, even though they outgained Mansfield 402 yards to 317. But that night it was the turnovers. They had 5 of them, Horn did. They had 5 turnovers, and they lost that ball game. Tonight, it looks like they're going to lose it, and one of the big reasons, well, 2, I guess. One, the penalty situations that came at some bad times for sure, and giving up the big play over the top on the passing game to the Vikings. Those 2 things did them in tonight.
And I'll add one more. The drops by the receivers.
Yeah, that's true. The drops
did not help the situation either. 10 seconds to go. They will not run another play. So this will be the final score. tonight at Hanby Stadium. 35-24, a back-and-forth game all night long, but the Arlington Lamar Vikings scored the final 14 points of the game. They beat Horn 35-24. Stay tuned. Our post-game show is next. Horn Jags football will continue in a moment. Okay, Patrick. First score by Horn. You've got the long run by Dante Ware that set that up. You've got the 24-yard run by Ware that was the second touchdown.
I've got the Kamara first touchdown.
Yeah, he's got the first
touchdown. Okay, so you want to do the long run and the touchdown. Okay, good. Then do you have the 24-yard run by Ware touchdown?
Yes, I do.
Good, and then we won't do the field goal. Don't worry about that.